So guys, what if Naruto was Pervy Emperor in DxD Movie 2? Name: Jade Dragon Power-Up Gear. Dragon sealed in it. The Jade Dragon Zirconus. Abilities: the user can select to gain power from the garments or natural abilities of the garment's owner. He cannot gain both from the same garment at the same time, meaning he has to choose one. Jade Dragon's Roar. User blasts a powerful aura that damages and destroys clothes and armor. Power-up ability: activate when the user eats clothing or, secret for now, preferable women's undergarments. In terms of power up, the user gets a third of the total power of the owner's undergarments. Getting power equal to the undergarment's owner is just overpowering him too much. The power up lasts up to 20 minutes depending on the power gained. If it's too much for user to handle, it lasts less than 10 minutes. After the session is over, the user retains a quarter of the power which is added to his reserves. Temporary abilities: the user can temporarily gain abilities from the garments consumed. He can use up to 3 abilities per session, meaning he cannot gain 4 or more. Shelf: this is a feature that helps the user to store either abilities or power when the amount is exceeded. For example, in the previous chapter, Naruto gained 3 abilities, but he still had 2 more abilities which he put in shelf. The limit so far is 2, but will increase as time goes on. Note: Naruto is known to defy fate, so some of these limitations might be broken, haha. Plus there are also 2 secret abilities that I would like to keep to myself, although one will be revealed in this chapter. The other one, well, let's just say it will make Naruto a pain in the ass. Disclaimer: I do not own Naruto or High School DxD, those have their owners of who I wish I was one of them. Chapter 8. Previously, unknown location. What the hell, that sacred gear is a useless artifact, it shouldn't be this powerful. I know you had a hand in this fate, shouted our mysterious figure as it once again also underestimated Naruto. Back to the fight. Naruto had somewhat accustomed himself to the power boost thanks to his partner's help, but it still hurt though. He flexed his hands as he felt the power coursing through his body. He sighed in relief. Oh, how he missed having this much power. He looked at the fried chicken and smirked. So Razor, what do you say you and me duck it out? Now. Best viewing room. The guests were shocked by what they saw. They were shocked at the massive power up that Razor had. But to think that Ria's had a trump card of her own like this was unthinkable. When they first saw Naruto, they thought he was just a mega pervert and his sacred gear was weak. They expected the Red Dragon Emperor's wielder to gain some sort of power up, since his sacred gear was known to be capable to killing gods. They were expecting Issei to rise to the challenge. But those expectations were low since Issei was untrained and had only just been reincarnated. But to see this boy power up to this level was amazing. His power rivaled Razor, meaning that in terms of power they were almost equal. To think there was also a power-up sacred gear that could rival a Longinus sacred, this got them thinking, was that sacred gear also not a Longinus, and if so, how the hell did it cost just 1 pawn? That type of sacred gear should have cost a ton of pieces, so how did Rias reincarnate him with just 1 pawn? This raised a lot of questions which needed answering. Haha, that's unexpected, we all thought it was over, but Rias keeps surprising us. Ererg was grinning like a madman. Who knew the pawn had that kind of power up? It made him also want to fight Naruto. Not Razor, his power felt wrong on all levels of wrong. The power Naruto was producing was pure unadulterated power. From what he could see from Naruto, the boy was an experienced fighter, and coupled with his power up, well, things will not go well for Razor, although Razor had the advantage of his regeneration and those bizarre flames of his. Okay, this is insane, how can a newly reincarnated pawn have that kind of power? And how come we haven't heard of his sacred gear before? Sakvara ranted as she watched a mere pawn surpass her in his first rating game. It was so embarrassing and humiliating. I mean, she was a king, and she didn't have this kind of power. Sona was also equally shocked. She had thought that Rias was going to quit, but she didn't expect her to bust out her best card. She was feeling a bit jealous too. I mean, she already had 1 Longinus, and she showed that she had a secret one hidden away. But how the hell did she reincarnate him with 1 pawn? The Mayu were equally shocked by what they were seeing, more so Surzich's. He thought that he knew everything about his sister and her peerage, but it seems that he was wrong. His little sister's peerage, even though they were few in number, had a lot of powerhouses, and she didn't tell him that she possessed 2 Longinus gears too. I have to say, Surzich's, your sister keeps surprising everyone. It's amazing how she kept such a powerful player from everyone this time. It was Fulbium who was now wide awake. He woke up when he felt Razor power up, then his sleep was totally wiped out when the pawn powered up too. It seems they were now as the climax of the fight, and the fight was going to be a good one. Yes, that a powerful sacred gear indeed, even if the way to power up is somewhat unorthodox, but it begs the question, if Rias reincarnated Issei with 7 pawns and was left with 1 normal pawn, how the hell did she reincarnate him? It should be impossible. Observed Akuja as he narrowed his eyes at his friend. Was there a way around the evil P system that Surzich's exploited, or did he give his sister a mutated piece? Hey, don't look at me, I am just as shocked as you are, replied Surzich's defensively. That pawn was weird, the way he fought was like a seasoned fighter, and coupled with his sacred gear, it just warranted a lot of suspicion. He will have to get to the bottom of this after the match is over to assess if he is a threat or not. As for Serafo, well, she was at the edge of her seat, literally, she was excited by the power-up, and she kept cheering Naruto on. This was the best rating game she had ever seen in her life, and she hoped that there will be more to come. Grafia just looked on with intrigue in her eyes. She thought that pawn was a perverted goof who was good at tricking people, but she was wrong. She had to add powerhouse to his resume. Back to the fight. Ria's peerage was in a state of shock as they felt rolling off from Naruto. The power was close to Razor's, and if he got a promotion he could outclass Razor, but the problem was his body seemed to be strained to hold the power, so it was a bad idea to go for a promotion. Asia seemed to be struggling just to heal the damage done by the power-up, but one thing was certain, this was their final stand, and Naruto was their last hope. He would see it through to the end despite the pain he was in. Damn man, warn me next time about your power ripping me apart, Naruto told his partner in a joking manner to take his mind of the pain which was subsiding, but the damage still remained. I don't know what happened, partner, by all accounts your body should be able to handle it, since you are used to it from your previous partners. I will take a look at what happening later, but for focus on the fight, and don't do anything stupid to strain yourself even further, his partner cautioned him. This wasn't supposed to happen. It seems his body was ripping itself apart then regenerating at a slow rate. Razor on the other hand took Naruto's momentary distraction to attack first. He didn't want to hurt Rias, so he went for someone who would force Rias to surrender if hurt, while also crippling their team. He went for Asia, take out the healer, and the others will fall easily. In a flash he was in front of, ready to burn her to a crisp. Said girl was a non-combatant, so she didn't notice him until it was too late. The others were too slow to react as Razor's fist came down on the poor girl. The fist however didn't make contact with its intended target as it was held in an iron grip by a very pissed off Naruto. Naruto had interfered just in time, but he had to curse himself for being distracted in battle. As he held Razor's hand he could feel his own hand being burnt by the blackish flames. Yeah, they were almost to the level of Amaterasu flames, well almost, so with his free hand, he smashed his fist into the shocked Razor's gut, launching his away from his team. Naruto then looked at his hands, both were burned by the flames, which meant that hand-to-hand was a bad idea with those flames covering Razor like armor. He then felt his burns being healed by Asia, to which he smiled at the girl. He then ordered the others to retreat to their home base and cast multiple barriers to protect themselves from the fight. Before he went after Razor to told Issei to get a promotion to Queen and support the others to strengthen the barrier. With that he shot off after Razor. Razor slowly got back up after being hit. It hurt like hell, even with the fire protecting him and the additional power-up. He looked up just in time to see a fist covered with power of destruction, pod, descending upon him. He dodged a fist which hit the ground, creating a huge crater. The two then traded blows with Razor, using his flaming fists and Naruto, using pod-covered fists. As they fought it became apparent who the better fighter was, even though Razor got a boost in speed and strength. It meant nothing to Naruto who got almost the same boost as well. Naruto was destroying Razor in hand-to-hand attacking areas that delivered a huge amount of pain. He is using the fighting style he uses in Boruto. I like that fighting style, even though they underrated it a lot. He was attacking the solar plexus, face, back of the head, neck, ribs and even the nuts. After a while they disengaged from each other, which they analyzed their exchange. For Razor, as much as he didn't want to admit it, he was totally outclassed in hand-to-hand combat, so he decided to switch to long range. For Naruto, though he noticed a problem, when he used pod mode as he liked to call it, his speed was very slow for his liking. Please note Naruto is very good at manipulating chakra, so it's easy for him to manipulate the other powers he got to an extent. Of course, he thought of using lightning which would increase his speed, but that would mean he would lose protection from those flames. Water was out of the question at the moment until he reduced Razor's power so that he won't be able to maintain his flame armor. So what to do? He didn't ponder much on it as Razor took off in the air and started throwing long-range blasts at him. Naruto did his best to dodge and counter them. Those blasts had some serious power behind them from the destruction they were causing. He was glad Issei got his promotion and was helping to strengthen the barrier, otherwise it would have forced Naruto to go on the defense. It seems also that the bastard had found his weaknesses. 1. He was inexperienced using pod, and 2. He was slow, which meant if Razor kept his distance he would wear Naruto out, so what the hell was he going to do? Lightbulb, something stupid. Naruto grinned as he deactivated pod mode. He then took time to calm himself as he was trying to do something stupid. Zirconus was confused before he realized what his partner was trying to do, judging by the power build-up. No, you can't, partner, with your current condition, you can't handle the next level. "Oh relax man, I am not going to do that, I am not that crazy, okay maybe I am, but I will not do that, I am using something less taxing, but almost as dangerous to my health as the going to the next level," haha Naruto replied with a grin. Zirkinus was confused until he felt how the power was moving, more specifically two abilities. He was trying to unlock another ability of the sacred gear, but that would put more strain on him. If Zirkinus is seeing this correctly, then it was Naruto's only choice to dominate the fight, so he kept quiet as he actually prayed that his partner would not blow up or erase himself out of existence. It would be embarrassing for him and saddening. He liked his first partner a lot. He was then surprised when he felt the ability unlocked. Ability unlocked, activating ability merger. Abilities merged, engaging lighting of destruction mode. And with that announcement, Naruto's power burst forth, forming armor like the Raikage's armor. It was Crimson Lightning. Naruto had succeeded in merging pod and lightning together. Haha, take that Raikage. In the elemental nation, I felt the urge to punch someone's lights out. That had made a better armor than his. Best viewing room. The guests were shocked to the core. If they thought that getting a power up was not enough, they watched as Naruto used the fabled pod that made the Bale famous. But that wasn't enough. They watched as Naruto made it even better by combining it with lightning, which was impossible, since pod could just erase the lightning affinity. It made everyone wonder just what the true capabilities of Naruto's sacred gear are. But the Mayu, we find Akuja laughing as he looked at his shocked friend. "Oh man, look at your face. I like this kid. I mean, not only did he somehow copy your abilities to a lesser extent, but he is almost a few steps closer on one-upping you." He was surprised to see Naruto's genius at work. To think that he could fuse two elements that are impossible to fuse to create a powerful defense and offense. He theorized that Naruto saw the disadvantages of pod and lightning, so he fused them both to get the best of both. This kid was something else. Surzich's just granted an annoyance as he watched Naruto now in his new armor. It was pretty impressive, and with more training, he could see Naruto doing wonders. But what most people in him were thinking was, isn't that sacred gear a bit overpowered? Back to the fight. While Naruto's teammates were all gapping at his show of abilities, Naruto was grinning, although if you look closely, you could see that he was in a lot of pain. Well, no pain no gain. Now that he had eliminated his weaknesses, time to finish the fight. Holding out his hand in a fist, he declared, "Alright you fried chicken, time to show you the power of panties. This is the embodiment of the hopes and dreams held by these panties. Go panty power." Everyone's sweat dropped. With insane speeds, Naruto started to speed blitz Razor from all angles. Razor never stood a chance against the new speeds and strength Naruto gained. It was like watching Lee playing pinball with Gaara. Razor tried to defend himself as much as he could, but it was all useless. All the defenses he put up were torn like paper, and worse, Naruto's strength seemed to have increased, which hurt a lot more than his previous hits. This was due to Naruto using speed as a source of additional strength. Naruto began to pulverize Razor with renewed vigor. He only had a few minutes at best before it was lights out for him. It seems his body was getting hurt even more, and it took all of his willpower to stay conscious. Worse, this new mode lasts about a minute by his estimation, which wasn't good for him. He could also see that Razor was almost at his limits, but he was still regenerating, meaning Razor could outlast him. All he had to do was to make him lose his armor before his mode runs out. His hopes were founded when, as soon as his mode ran out, Razor also deactivated his armor, and his flames had returned back to normal. They both still had power. But Naruto was hurt big time. Hand to hand won't be a good idea at the moment. "It's okay Naruto, you have done enough, let us handle the rest," he heard Ria's concerned voice from the comms. It was a touching gesture. They also won't last long. Asia was out of power, and so was Issei. The others had strained themselves to sustain the barrier that protected them, meaning that they won't win against Razor. Don't worry about me, it's all part of the plan. Now time for plan C," said a tired Naruto as he coughed up blood. "And what's plan C?" came also an equally concerned voice to Vissi as he saw his friend coughing up blood. Powerless or not, he couldn't stand and watch his friend suffer. "Simple, this is the last of all my plans before I log off. I am going to drowning and electrocuting him," and with the power he had left, he extended his left hand as enacted his final trump card by taking a page from Zabuza, water style. Freezing water prison, without sticking his hand onto the water sphere. And with that, a ball of freezing water formed around the unsuspecting Razor. Naruto was surprised that the water affinity he got from Sona was so strong that he could manipulate the temperature of the water. So when Razor raised the water temperature to evaporate it, he would decrease the water temperature. This was a perfect counter to his flames. Razor was successfully captured in the water prison. He tried to evaporate it, but the water was so cold, and his power was not enough to evaporate it. That's when he noticed the lightning in the pawn's right hand. His eyes widened when the lightning was launched at the water sphere, and all he felt was pain. He tried to fight the pain and overpower the water, but it was for naught. He couldn't breathe because of the water, and he was being electrocuted, and worse, at some point, the water temperatures rose so high it was like he was being boiled before they fell back to freezing point. He made the mistake of screaming in pain, which caused him to choke from the water he swallowed. Soon his vision started to darken as he lost consciousness. He knew he had lost and he was about to die. but suddenly he disappeared from the arena before he could bite the dust. Damn, almost lucky chicken. Naruto grinned as he saw Razor disappear. Mission accomplished, haha. He fell down on the ground as he waited for the announcer to declare their victory. Both kings have been eliminated, this match is a draw. I knew this wasn't my day, Naruto said before he passed out. So what happened to Rias? The mysterious figure, when it saw that Razor was about to pass out, made a last-ditch effort to fail Naruto's team. It opened a portal behind Rias and thrust its hand into her. It then drained Rias of her energy, making her faint. But what happened surprised even the figure. Rias held on until Razor passed out, then she also passed out. The figure didn't leave a wound on her to show evidence of foul play, and nobody saw what happened. No one even paid attention that Rias passed out a few seconds after Razor passed out. And so the historic rating game ended in a draw, just like a certain someone predicted. Best viewing room. What the hell just happened? Rias was fine a moment ago, ranted Surziches as his powers flared, scaring most of the guests. Those observant were of the same opinion. Rias was fine, and then she fell unconscious. They did an examination when she appeared and found that she lost almost all of her energy. Some attributed it to straining herself maintaining the barrier, but Akeno was adamant that she still had more energy to fight, so investigations were launched, but it was clear they weren't going to find anything. Asia and Issei had also passed out after expending their energy. The rest had minor injuries which were treated quickly. The only ones in bad condition were Naruto and Razor. Both had exceeded their limits, and their bodies showed it. Razor was regenerating, but slowly. As for Naruto, he was out of power, and his body was ripped to shreds. How he was still fighting was a miracle itself. Everyone in the room was impressed by the Rias team. They came and proved that they were strong and cunning. Even though they didn't win, they showed a spectacular display of skill. Sona was proud of her friend. She never thought that Rias would put this much of a fight. When the rest of the conscious members came into the room, everyone started to clap and cheer for them. It just showed just how much of a fight they put to impress everyone and earned the respect of everyone. But what everyone could conclude was this was the best rating games match ever. It will be talked about for days to come. A week later, a lot had happened during the week. Rias woke up a few hours after the match, only to be told that the match ended in a draw. This meant that the marriage was still on. The girl was devastated. She cried while Akeno and Sona tried to comfort her. Sona felt proud and sorry for her friend at the same time. She put up a good fight, but in the end she was back where she started. Rias also met her team minus Naruto, who was still unconscious. She did something that shocked her team. She bowed to them and thanked them for their hard work. She couldn't be any prouder of her peerage. They lost, true, but they fought with everything they had. She also spent a lot of time in Naruto's room waiting for him to wake up. The others visited most of the time, but she and Asia spend more time tending to Naruto than anyone else. She hoped that he would all of a sudden wake up shouting about Raymond and Rias owing him a shitload of panties. She chuckled and blushed at the thought. However, what surprised her were the confusing feelings she was feeling whenever she thought of Naruto. When she thought about it, she noticed that she started to develop feelings for him. I mean, who won't? He fought tooth and nail for her. He put his own health in jeopardy just so she could be free. That's just textbook knight in shining armor character, and most girls fall for that, are included. As for Naruto, he remained unconscious, although the damage had somehow magically healed overnight after the match. He was just in a coma, but he wasn't waking up even though everything was now fine. The chicken, on the other hand, took about 2 days to finally be able to move around. The first thing he did was announce the marriage between him and Rias. Everyone was surprised since the investigations as to Rias' sudden loss of power was still ongoing. The lack of evidence of foul play was Razor's excuse for pushing the wedding. The Phoenix and the Gremory families were undecided after they watched just how Rias fought to get out of the marriage, but they still agreed that the wedding should be held in the next 5 days. So here we are in Naruto's room as our hero began to wake up. He looked at the ceiling to note that he wasn't in his room. The events of the match played in his mind as he remembered the announcer declaring the match a draw before he passed out. He just sighed as he hoped his hunch was wrong, but it seems fate had other ideas. He sat up and saw Asia sleeping with her head on the bed he was in. She was dressed up for some fancy event which he had no idea what it was. She looked cute while she slept. He shook the girl, who slowly woke up and saw Naruto awake. She just hugged him like her life depended on it. For a gentle girl, she sure was strong when she at certain times, and right now he could feel some bones breaking. After they separated, she informed Naruto about what was happening during the time he was in a coma. Some of the news was actually touching. It seems that he has made some precious people. Honestly, this phrase make me want to throw up. Hehe, just kidding. Here, only one person in his homeworld showed how she cared like this, and she was long gone. Just thinking about her brought a sharp pain in his heart that he was trying to hide when he got here. Asia didn't notice anything, but Naruto's partner did. But hearing about the wedding brought a sense of urgency in Naruto. He quickly shot out of the bed, noticing how he didn't feel any pain, just a little stiff in the muscles. Naruto, are you sure you should be moving? You just woke up. shouted a frantic and blushing Asia who tried to look away, but the image was already saved. Naruto was half naked just wearing his boxer shorts, and someone decided to stand at attention stretching the boxers quite a bit. Damn morning wood. Naruto didn't notice as he stretched a bit to remove the stiffness. Yeah, I am fine, don't worry, in fact I feel better than ever. Hey partner, are you up? Hello Naruto, how are you feeling? Do you feel weird in any way? Asked his partner who was relieved but was a little nervous about something. I am good, why do you ask about me feeling weird? Asked Naruto. Oh nothing, haha. Zirkinus laughed nervously, getting narrowed eyes from Naruto. Something was wrong, and Zirkinus is hiding it. No time for that now, gotta get to the wedding. First they teleported back to their apartment where Naruto proceeded to get a few documents provided to him courtesy of a certain magical garment girl. Then he went on to his wardrobe and put on an outfit that got Asia and Zirkinus to sweat drop. He was wearing blue jeans and an orange t-shirt. The t-shirt was printed something that would definitely piss off someone. In front and in the back was printed, I love eating chicken with a rooster in a weird pose. But the strange thing was that the rooster's head looked suspiciously like razors. When did he have time to do that? Lastly he finished by buying a bucket of chicken drumsticks and he was all set. Now time to crush a wedding, hahaha. I am good, why do you ask about me feeling weird? Asked Naruto. Oh nothing, haha. Zirkinus laughed nervously, getting narrowed eyes from Naruto. Something was wrong, and Zirkinus is hiding it. No time for that now, gotta get to the wedding. First they teleported back to their apartment where Naruto proceeded to get a few documents provided to him courtesy of a certain magical garment girl. Then he went on to his wardrobe and put on an outfit that got Asia and Zirkinus to sweat drop. He was wearing blue jeans and an orange t-shirt. The t-shirt was printed something that would definitely piss off someone. In front and in the back was printed, I love eating chicken with a rooster in a weird pose. But the strange thing was that the rooster's head looked suspiciously like razors. When did he have time to do that? Lastly he finished by buying a bucket of chicken drumsticks and he was all set. Now time to crush a wedding, hahaha. Now, Underworld Phoenix family house. We find the house filled with a lot of important devils who were invited to the wedding. You could see all of them were dressed in their fancy expensive clothes, and the women also spotted some jewelry to further their allure. Razor had made sure to spare no expense, as he wanted his wedding to go down in history as the wedding of the century. Most of the devils were holding wine glasses as they discussed various issues, but the most prominent one being the rating game that occurred a week ago. It was the best rating game they had ever seen, and they doubted there would be another one that could top this one. Well, unless Ria's team participates against another all-female peerage. If only the game was made public, it would have been trending on DevilTube with an obscene amount of views. Too bad the others are missed out on such a bonanza, a true feast for the eyes. Ria's team was also there with the exception of Ria's, Asia and Naruto for obvious reasons. All of them were wearing nice formal clothes, even Issei, although they had to bribe him with anime videos filled with oppai. The boy gladly wore the suit. He would do anything for oppai. The gang was depressed and that was understandable. Their king was forced to marry a first-rate jackass who she didn't want to marry. They fought to the best of their ability and lost, and worse, their teammate was in a coma for who knows how long. They felt like they let down their king. They should have fought harder and given it their all plus extra. I am not gonna say plus ultra, hell no, that's Almight's thing. This is so depressing guys, let's try to at least be cheerful. It is a wedding after all, Akeno said as she tried to lighten up the mood. How can you say that? The press is being forced to marry that jackass, and you say we enjoy the wedding? Hell no, I am going to punch that jackass in the face the moment he shows up, Issei said with anger evident in his voice. He wasn't going to let his press get stuck in a loveless wedding, if he could help it. Ara how bold of you, but you won't make it to him, not with all these powerful devils around, Akeno replied, pointing to some powerhouses in the room that were drawn to their conversation. They weren't quiet about their displeasure, and they didn't care. Then how about we wait after the wedding, then we all gang up on him and beat him to a bloody pulp, Kaneko suggested, while smacking her fist into her palm, and a menacing aura behind her. She knew the type of man Razor was, and she was not going to become his glorified trophy to be used and discarded whenever he pleased. The others were surprised that Kaneko could suggest such a thing in a menacing voice. By the way, no, that won't work either, he could just teleport with the president so we won't get a chance, plus his healing ability is a pain in the ass, Kiba said, earning a pout from Kaneko. Ara don't worry about that, I have the perfect item to make sure that he won't bother us ever again. A little holy water in the wedding cake would do wonders to him. It's the perfect item to assassinate a phoenix after all. Ara Keno laughed creepily, which was mirrored by the rest of the gang, while a dark aura began to surround them, making them look demonic. Nah, that would put a lot of heat on us since it would be too obvious. We wait until he gets a shower. A holy shower would do wonders for his ego. On second thought, since that guy is made of fire, that he even take a shower. Issei asked with a confused look. Those who were eavesdropping on their conversation just sweat dropped at the sheer audacity these people had. They were talking about assassinating a high-class devil in front of everyone, and they were not even hiding it. Are we sure this wedding is a good idea? Just look at those guys, they might go along with that crazy plan of theirs. On second thought, make sure they don't get too close to the cake, and buy another one at that in case they already got to it. These guys sure are scary, and they just ruined everyone's hopes to get a bite of the wedding cake. Who the hell would enjoy a wedding cake which could most likely have been sprinkled with holy water? Sona, who was heading to meet the gang with her queen, just sweat dropped. These guys sure have devious minds, but it was good that they were occupying themselves, otherwise that aura of depression would have lingered longer than it was needed. But she too shared in their sentiments. She didn't want this for her friend, and if she could do something she would. She also had some ideas floating in her head that were more subtle than what Ria's peerage was thinking, but she didn't have the stomach to execute them. Plus, if the assassination was traced back to her, it would be bad for her family. She joined the gang as she waited for her peerage to arrive. They chatted about various things all the while her peerage arrived to keep them company and make sure they don't do anything stupid. Well, Naruto would do that anyway, despite them trying to stop him. It was a good thing he was unconscious. Oh, she was so wrong. Soon the room was hushed as Razor entered the room. He looked as smug as ever as he headed for the altar to wait for his bride. His smugness only increased when he looked at Ria's peerage and saw the hatred in their eyes, but knew they can't do anything to him. Maybe a detour won't hurt. Ria's peerage plus Sona saw Razor coming towards them. There were various reactions, with surprise being the most prevalent, followed by rage. "Sup, my soon-to-be servants, how are you? Are you enjoying your last moments of freedom?" Razor asked with smugness practically oozing from him. He was definitely pushing the right buttons, because the moment he finished Issei lashed out at him, but was held down by two of Sona's rooks, who seemed to be struggling holding him down. "Yes, stay down where you belong, you lowly servant. You reincarnated devils are beneath us, so eat dirt." Razor laughed as he railed Issei further. Oh, he was going to enjoy this verbal abuse, since he couldn't do anything to them. Yet, you know, for a guy that got his ass kicked by a newly reincarnated pawn worth a single piece, you sure are cocky. You really gave use high-class devils a bad rep, you know, came the voice Sarerg from behind Razor. Sarerg had arrived to attend his cousin's wedding, even though he didn't like what was happening. He didn't like Razor not one bit, and if he had an opportunity he would beat him to the ground. Razor, seeing Sarerg, just huffed. It really stung his pride to be reminded of his defeat at the hands of a mere pawn. But he had to save face after all. He was a high-class devil, and this was his wedding. No one would ever dare do anything to ruin his mood, except for this musclehead. He was the bridegroom after all. Ah, it was a fluke. If we were to fight one-on-one he would lose like his pathetic ingrate, as Razor excused his loss while insulting Ria's peerage. For a guy marrying Ria's, he sure doesn't waste any time insulting her friends, and thereby indirectly insulting her. This rubbed Ria's peerage in a bad way, but the response came from someone they won't expect. "At least I got to stomp your nuts and clobber that stupid face of yours," Kaneko said in her monotone voice. But you could detect a hint of edge and amusement in it. "Oh yeah, and I did the same thing to you too, and it felt good hearing you squeal like a girl." Issei added his 2 cents in before he felt the burning gaze of the girls around him. He quickly realized his mistake and corrected it. "No offense, girls, haha." The not so subtle verbal jabs seemed to serve their purpose in pissing Razor off. The dude was angry, but he couldn't do anything with Sarerg around, so he stormed off while planning to make them pay after he married Ria's. The gang was left to thank Sarerg for the help, to which he just laughed it off. He quite enjoyed the jabs they threw at the chicken. Oh yes, he used that word. He had gotten so used to it after watching the rating games that he almost mistakenly called Lord Phoenix Lord Chicken. As the guys continued, Ria's entered in her wedding dress. The girl looked stunning that everyone was mesmerized by the girl's appearance. What they didn't consider was the girl's face. She looked so sad, so defeated. What the heck was wrong with these people? Can't they see how depressed the girl was? The girl got to the altar where the priest went on to recite whatever it was that was recited at devil weddings. Do devils hire priests to officiate weddings? Anywhere, Razor looked even smugger as he looked at soon-to-be wife. Oh, this was the best day of his life. Nothing can ruin this day. No one can ruin this event for him. That stupid pawn was in a coma, so he decided to rub it in Ria's face. He leaned forward and whispered into her ear. "No one is coming to save you." Ria's eyes widened as tears threatened to spill out of her eyes. Just then the doors burst open as a guard flew through it and crushed at the other end of the room. Everyone was on edge as they prepared to defend against the attackers. "I object," came a familiar voice from a very special someone. That voice caused Ria's peerage to smile with hope in their eyes. Well, Ria's looked like she was about to cry. Sarerg just smirked as he saw his new best friend, not that he told anyone, even Naruto, coming into the room. From the Naruto came in wearing something that was totally against the occasion. Jeans and an orange t-shirt with "I love eating chicken" printed on it. Everyone sweat dropped at his choice of clothing. They further sweat dropped, while Razor and his family got tick marks on their head when they saw Rooster that looked like Razor on Naruto's shirt. Oh, and he was also eating a drumstick. Ah, Naruto-kun, I don't think they had gotten to the vows. Yet came the timid voice of Asia from behind him as she poked her head from his left side. Naruto just looked around for confirmation, which he got from his team. Ah man, I came in too early. I wanted my entrance to be cool, Naruto pouted. The guests were surprised to see Naruto intruding on the wedding. This was an important event to the underworld. The fate of their species hang on those two's union. That's just bullshit. Even though Naruto had earned their respect, his team had lost and he had no right to interfere in this matter. But no one was more pissed than Razor. What are you doing here and how did you get in here anyway? We had stationed guards to prevent such a thing, Razor asked angrily. How dare this ingrate intrude and ruin the best day of his life? Well, you should done a better job of putting capable guards and a better strategy. I mean female guards without panties. That's the most stupid strategy I have ever seen in my life, and most of them wouldn't have ended up like him, Naruto said nonchalantly as he pointed to the guard laying on the floor with something stuck in his behind. Flashback, teleporting just outside the Phoenix mansion. Naruto had to whistle how large and extravagant it was. Well, he was not here to sightsee, he was here on a mission to annoy a certain chicken. Entering the yard, Naruto and Asia were met with resistance in the form of the mansion's guards. There were about 20 of them guarding the front, meaning that there were extra guards stationed. For what? He could only have a few guesses. The lead guard stepped forward, drawing his sword before pointing at Naruto. You are not allowed here, the girl can come, but you are to leave, he said coolly. You do know that I kicked your master's ass, right? What can you possibly do to me? Naruto asked as he motioned Asia to stay back as he stepped forward. The guard stepped back a little before gaining their courage. They all rushed at Naruto with swords poised to strike. What happened next shocked everyone, even Naruto. He moved to knock them out, but all the guards ended up embedded into the ground, all very much unconscious. All this happened in 10 seconds. Naruto was very surprised at the speed and strength that he displayed. He was sure that his gravity seals were on, and he was very much sure that the speed and strength he displayed was 3 times faster and stronger than his base speed from during the tournament. Wow, is it just me or did I become a lot faster and stronger? Naruto remarked. He expected to hear a comment from his partner, but he was strangely silent. Asia just sweat dropped as she followed Naruto into the mansion where they were met with more guards. Are you kidding me? Your boss really hates me, right? He gets a nod from the guards. Is there any way you can just pretend that you didn't see me and let me pass? He got a negative from the guards, to which he just signed. Then he noticed a few female guards and smirked. Steel, Naruto announced his fearsome attack, but the guards just smirked. Naruto raised a brow until he noticed that he didn't get anything from his target. He blinked in confusion. They couldn't have developed a way to counter his technique that quickly unless. You are not wearing any underwear, are you? So all of you ladies are commando? Naruto exclaimed in shock. Damn, Razor was one twisted SOB to force his guards to not wear underwear. He looked at the female guards and found them blushing in embarrassment. Well, his ultimate pervy technique was useless now. That was until he saw the woman he targeted shaking uncontrollable with a deep blush on her face. He also noticed a certain aroma coming from his fingers from the hand he used when he tried his technique. He brought his fingers closer, then smelled them. Yep, there is no doubt about it, he knew this scent. But how did it get to his fingers when he hadn't touched the woman's snatch? Maybe, just maybe. Let's test that theory out. Again, he used his steal technique on another female guard. This time he used in for a while longer, while willing his fingers to do a rubbing motion instead of a grabbing motion. He noticed that instead of the normal bright light accompanying his technique, his hand had disappeared all the way to the wrist. Moreover, he could feel his hand, and it was massaging something wet with lips and no teeth. He then heard a squeal from his victim, solidifying his theory. Oh yes, Steel just got a mega evolution. His hand was literally teleported into the victim's pants, where he was busy pleasuring the poor woman. Hell yeah, now time for some long-range molesting. So for the next minute and a half, all the female guards fell prey to the combined might of the now dubbed long-range molesting and the touch of the Eero god. Let's just say there was a lot of erotic sound and fluids bursting, and lots of nosebleeds that took out all the guards. After that, the very happy boy and a blushing Asia continued on with their journey until they came to the doors of the hall where the wedding was being conducted. It was also guarded, and unfortunately by male guards. Again, Naruto sighed. Would you please let us through? Naruto asked, and again he got a negative. Please, I don't want to have to do something drastic. Okay, there is stupid, then there is dumb, and then there is ridiculously stupid. Ridiculously stupid is trying to fight the guy that mopped the floor with their master and also wiped out the guards before them. So what Naruto had to do was make them see the light. So when ridiculously stupid one came at him, Naruto quickly drew a chicken's foot from his bucket and shoved it up the idiot's ass. There was a lot of screaming and cursing with the others looking on in horror. Naruto wasted no time in doing the same to all the others, with the last one being kicked kicked through the doors of the wedding hall. End of flashback. Wow, look at that, it's really went in deep. That's what I call having a foot stuck up your ass, said their ever-cheerful Seraphil, as she pocked a little piece of the chicken's foot that was showing. Leviathan Sama, please stop that, it feels so uncomfortable, groaned the poor guard. Everyone there instinctively held their behinds as they knew that really hurts like hell. Razor just growled, not caring about what happened to his guards. Get the hell out of here, or do I have to force you? And while you are at it, refer to me by my proper title like the lowly devil that you are, Razor commanded as he inched closer to Riaz, who was still dazed by Naruto's sudden appearance. Akuja wanted to move in to interfere, but was stopped by Surziches, who also signaled for the others not to interfere. He wanted to see where this was going before he plays his cards, plus with that old coot here he would have to be careful. Also when Naruto is around this become very lively. Naruto looked at Razor with a raised brow, not at all threatened. You want me to refer to you by your proper title? Which one? I mean, in history you are the only one to carry so many titles. There is douchebag, jackass, bird brain, asshole, KFC, rooster, chicken nuggets, drumstick, yakitori etc. So which one would you like? Also, if I am a lowly devil who beat the crap out of you, what does that make you? Razor's brow twitched violently at the jab Naruto threw at him. He could also hear some stifled sneakers from the guests. Oh, he was going to kill this kid, but he wasn't given a chance to formulate a comeback as Naruto continued while he addressed the rest of the guests. And what the hell did you all come here to see? A wedding? You guys really disgust me. Look at the bride, she looks miserable and has been crying, and here you are enjoying yourselves. She made it clear she doesn't want to marry that dipstick, and you are clearly forcing her. Just be glad that she is reasonable, otherwise she would have taken a few drastic measures to get out of this marriage. She could have just killed herself, but she cares so much for her friends, or my personal favorite since it's a marriage between Riaz Gremory and Razor Phoenix. She could have just announced the Gremory name and just be Riaz, but she still loves her family, even though they clearly don't care about her. You Gremory are a family, and yet you have caused your daughter so much pain. Instead of spending her teen years doing what girls do, she was forced to devote most of her time trying to find a way to get out of this stupid marriage. And don't let me get started about that stupid class system that you put in place. After Naruto's rant, which from what they could see hadn't ended yet since he was taking a few breaths to calm himself, the audience had time to reflect to what they had done. Were they really that bad? Looking at it, the bride seemed very unhappy about the marriage, and they ignored it. They were basically celebrating someone else's torment. Some rationalized that it was all for the good of their kind, but some had doubts. Were they so different from the old faction if they were doing this to their kind? The ones to be hit worse were the Phoenix and the Gremory family, especially the Gremory. For the Phoenix, it was shame and remorse they were feeling. They knew that their son was bad for the girl, and that the girl refused him the first time they met. They should have done something to change their son's character. Maybe they won't be in this mess. It seems that they messed up as parents in raising Razor. The Gremory felt so much shame like never before. Their daughter was distressing for all these years, all because of them. She refused the marriage when she met Razor. They too met him and knew he was an ass, but they forced their daughter into that marriage. What if she took drastic measures like what that pawn said? What would have happened to their family? Was the devil race worth sacrificing their daughter's happiness? Surziches felt even worse. He professed love his sister, damn Siskin, but he didn't do much to help her. He knew she was hurting, and what did he do? Nothing, well, except for the rating game idea, but that was after years of pain. Enough of this foolishness. The wedding will continue whether you like it or not. Our race depends on it, came a loud commanding voice. Surziches just sighed. It seems the old coot has decided to act. He is a real pain. Let's see where this goes. Maybe Naruto has something up his sleeve. The whole room was silenced by that voice, and Naruto turned to see an old man, not that old in appearance, but in posture, coming towards them. He radiated authority, and from the way Razor was reacting to him, he seems to be someone important. Worse, this guy gave him a Danzo vibe. He was tempted to outright call him Danzo. The man looked at Naruto with a look that gave him bad vibes, but he stood his ground. He had faced worse after all. And who might you be, old man? Naruto asked. Everyone's sweat dropped at the blatant disrespect to one of the most influential and respected devil in the underworld. The old man in question just looked at him without even changing his facial expression. I am Zekrom Bale, leader of the Bale clan, he said as he tried to gauge the reaction of the young man in front of him. He was sadly disappointed as the boy just shrugged and said okay, and that's it. There were so many things he wanted to say to this stupid boy about respecting his superiors, but that would be wasting time. There was a wedding to enjoy after all, so he will cut to the chase. Young man, I would advise that you shut up and don't disturb the wedding. As you know, if your king told you anything, purebloods are becoming fewer in number, so it is apparent that this union happened. We need to preserve the purebloods after all, the man said. Naruto just looked at him as he digested what the old man said before something occurred to him. He had seen this happen in the elemental nations a lot. Seriously, that's the reason for this wedding. This is a bunch of baloney, and you know it. If the situation was as dire as you make it to be, then those three, pointing at the three Malamayu, would be having harems right now, popping purebloods left, right and center. But no, that's not the case here, which leads me to believe that there is another motive behind this marriage. Like trying to merge Pod and the power of the Phoenix clan. This is too obvious. You guys would sacrifice my king's happiness for this, Naruto almost shouted after he pieced together the main reason of the wedding. But he settled a serious face. The younger generation looked shocked, while the older generation looked surprised that he pieced it together that quick. True, the main reason for the marriage was to try and merge bloodlines to produce an even stronger one, but chances of that happening were slim. It was either the child gets either one of the parents' bloodline or none at all. And also, yes, the situation wasn't dire, as they made it out to be, otherwise they would have made the Mao to have harems, despite the law that Mao should have one partner. Rias looked shocked and looking to her parents, who looked away from her, confirmed what Naruto said was true. She looked devastated that her parents would do this to her, their own daughter. It was at this time that her peerage was by her side, comforting her with a boy standing protectively in front of them. Issei looked ready to explode in rage. There was division in the room as the younger generation looked at the older generation like they were monsters. True, they were devils, but they wanted to do things differently from the old faction. But it seems they failed spectacularly. As for Naruto, he was having second thoughts about revealing his hunch, but it had to be done. Sometimes you need to do things the hard way to get results. Seeing the commotion in the room, Zekrom lost his composure for a moment before he reined his feelings under control. This kid has a big mouth, and what he did had caused division among the devils, something they didn't need. Time to remind him where his place is. Now listen here, boy, this wedding is happening whether you like it or not. It's for the good of our kind. We need all the power we can get. There is nothing you can do about it. It was decided, and both clans signed a contract, and according to devil law, all contracts must be honored, Zekrom said as he put the final nail in the coffin. Contracts were important in the devil community, meaning breaking a contract would risk shaming the family. Zekrom further cemented his point by releasing a portion of his power, scaring most of the guests, while the Mao got ready to step in. Naruto, on the other hand, just raised a brow before he released his own power, and was surprised to find that it had risen to high-class levels. What he didn't notice was the torrent of water forming around his feet like a tornado, and an aura of lighting of destruction formed around him. Everyone else noticed and were surprised by this. What contract are you talking about? As far as I know, there is no contract between the Phoenix and the Gremory, Naruto said with a smirk. This was the final plan that he had if all of his plans failed. He took out a certain document and gave it to Rias to read the highlighted parts. The girl went over the parts Naruto highlighted before she rubbed her eyes to make sure she was not seeing things. She looked at Naruto, who mouthed checkmate to her. You had this all this time, and you didn't tell me, she asked as a dark aura formed around her. You see, he didn't get to finish as the girl pounced on him, then started beating him like a crazy animal. It gradually ended with the girl crying while muttering thank you over and over again. Sona picked up the document before she read herself and blinked. What the hell? How did she not see this? This could have saved them the trouble years ago. What was she reading? The contract law, of course, the amended one. It stated in the fine print that if any of the two people marrying to solidify a contract refuse, then the contract was null and void. This meant that when Rias refused to marry Razor, she basically voided the contract, making her a free devil. The document was passed along to everyone who read it. Sirzichus was crying in tears as he missed this part. He had looked high and low for an exit for his sister, but failed to find anything. Serapho was just whistling innocently while sending a wink to Naruto. She was the one who made the amendment and gave Naruto that specific document, although he could have gotten it either way. Zekrom was pissed that there was such a law, and he didn't know about it. Soon all those who will be forced into arranged marriages would start refusing, cancelling many potential contracts. Curse this stupid pawn. The Gremory and the Phoenix looked shocked, so the supposed contract they signed wasn't a contract at all. They had wasted a lot of time and resources, and all for what? Nothing. For the Gremory, there was also a chance they might lose their daughter because of their stupid mistake. Naruto, seeing his part done, picked up Ria's bridal style, earning an eep from the girl and a glare from Asia. Before making their dramatic exit, Naruto saw it prudent to remind them of something. Before I leave, I think it's good to remind you that you owe me a lot of money, and for certain people I will need something else from you. Have a good day. And with that, Ria's peerage teleported away, leaving a bewildered people except for a few. They remembered the bet they made before the raiding game, and they lost spectacularly. As for Razor, the poor guy was left on the altar. Zirkinus, however, was dreading the conversation he would have with Naruto. When he was roaming around in Naruto, he found a number of things that were odd, but the worst was that he found the seal like Naruto asked him to. The damn thing was empty. All the beasts were gone. Goddess realm. There were a number of goddesses assembled in the hall discussing Naruto's progress. So far after his stunt in the raiding game and crushing the wedding, he had earned a lot of points. In the center of the hall was a figure wearing a white linen dress, only showing that she was female. She seemed to be the center of attention for now. As the discussion taking place, our mysterious figure entered the hall, eliciting the whole room to quiet down. The figure slowly walked to the center of the hall where the girl in white was. Looks like your crazy plan worked. Forcing him into that situation brought out his hidden potential. But are you sure it was a good idea? He will flips when he finds out Razor's power-up was your plan, said a goddess who seemed to be leading the meeting. I won't worry about that, he has a good heart, he will understand. However, if he flips, she, pointing to the girl in white, will handle him. Plus I am sure he will be very happy if we give him his chakra back minus age of 6 paths. Of course the mysterious figure reasoned. The others nodded at the reasoning. Are you going to meet with him? Another goddess asked. Yes I am, I have waited long enough to meet my payment. I think it's time I explain things to him. Well, good luck Shinigami, we are all counting on you. Looks like your crazy plan worked. Forcing him into that situation brought out his hidden potential. But are you sure it was a good idea? He will flips when he finds out Razor's power-up was your plan, said a goddess who seemed to be leading the meeting. I won't worry about that, he has a good heart, he will understand. However, if he flips, she, pointing to the girl in white, will handle him. Plus I am sure he will be very happy if we give him his chakra back minus age of 6 paths. Of course the mysterious figure reasoned. The others nodded at the reasoning. Are you going to meet with him? Another goddess asked. Yes I am, I have waited long enough to meet my payment. I think it's time I explain things to him. Well, good luck Shinigami, we are all counting on you. Now, while the DxD verse was dealing with Naruto shenanigans, let's see what was happening in the elemental nations. After the war, all the major and minor villages decided to sign a non-aggression pact with each other, as well as solidifying their alliance. They also formed a joint squad consisting of shinobi from all villages. This squad was meant to protect the peace that they formed, as well as take on huge threats that might occur. So overly there was peace in the world which was threatened by a certain aspect, the issue of the war criminal Sasuke Uchiha. After he got his ass kicked, Konoha decided to swoop in and capture him. They, the council, refused put him on international trial, knowing he will surely receive the death sentence. This caused some tension between Konoha and the rest of the villages. Sasuke was then tried by Konoha and received a year in jail, followed by 2 years community service with his chakras sealed off. The reason was that he played a major part in the war, as if. This pissed off a lot of people, mostly Tsunade and Hiashi. The reason being that he killed Hinata when she had her back turned. Tsunade, after the farce of a trial, resigned as Hokage and gave it back to the fourth, who along with his family appeared and helped during the war. Right now we find Tsunade in front of a certain grave of a very special someone in a location only a few people know. She had just placed a new set of flowers before she began to speak. Hey Hinata, how are you? I know you can't hear me, but I will speak my mind anyway. It's been a year now since Naruto left. When you died he was left broken, you were the one who completed him, and when you were taken he changed. She sighed as she remembered that day, the pain that filled her heart as losing her soon-to-be daughter-in-law. She remembered how broken Naruto was as he blamed himself for her death. She remembered his rage as he almost killed Sasuke had not Konoha stopped him, but the damage was done. Sasuke was left broken, his right hand missing along with a special Rinnegan given to him by the Sage of 6 Paths. Oh, and his balls were toast. That was officially the day Naruto declared he had enough of Konoha. This is way he took the deal. Originally it was supposed to be him and Hinata going to a new world, then if they like it, they would take a few people when the time was right, but that did not go as planned, so he wanted to get away from it all before he goes crazy again. She only wished Naruto's guardian, the one who raised him, from when he was 6 up to when he was 13, was here. She was the only one apart from Hinata who know how to calm him down. Naruto had told him about his secret guardian, although not that much since her identity was still a secret. She took care of him secretly when he was kicked out of the orphanage. She was the one who taught him a lot about morals, and she was the one that helped him not to turn out like Gaara. She was also the reason Naruto and Kurama became friends when he was 10. The day Tsunade came to Konoha when he was 13 and adopted Naruto, that was the day she disappeared without a trace, but Naruto held her in high regards. Anyway, Tsunade talked at Hinata's grave for a while before she went back to her estate in Konoha. These days she mostly kept to herself waiting for Naruto to return and get her out of the hellhole she was in. Shizune was in charge of the hospital, but even she wanted to leave the place. They also wanted a fresh start away from all this disaster. As she got closer to her home she saw the last she wanted to see, the last people she wanted to see. The first was Jiraiya, who was supposed to be Naruto's godfather. He was supposed to take care of Naruto, but was not seen until the Chunin exams when Naruto was 13. That was only because he was supposed to train Naruto, of which he did a horrible job of it. Worse, the only thing he did for Naruto was buy him a freaking wallet, and that's it. No wonder he and Naruto didn't see eye to eye after Tsunade let it slip that Jiraiya was his godfather. He neglected Naruto when he needed someone the most, then comes back and tries to get into his life like nothing happened. Next were the Namikaze family, the parents she had a huge beef with, but the children she was neutral. After Minato was spared by the Shinigami, he became paranoid that the masked man would come after him and his family, so he had the bright idea of faking their deaths to throw of their enemies. During the sealing he had split the 9 tails into 3 parts. He divided the yin part into for his 2 younger children and gave all the yang to Naruto, so yeah, in this story they had triplets. It's overused, I know. So he thought that it was a good idea to leave Naruto in the village as its Jinchuriki while he took the rest of his family. The plan was to go into hiding and see what the masked man would do, then come back in 7 years, and true, the masked masked man did come looking for him in the village twice. The first was when Naruto was 6 and when Naruto was 10, but someone always interfered. So this increased his fears and moved his plan to come back when Naruto was 16. At this age the children would be able to defend themselves. However, he did not count on the Shinigami tricking him. The seal with the yin had a timer in which the yin would go back to the yang in 15 years without killing the Jinchuriki. So imagine his surprise when he discovered the seal gone from his children in the 15th year. As for Kushina, she was against the idea of leaving Naruto in the village at first, but had to accept the logic after some convincing from Jiraiya and the third. But it really took a lot to convince her. Her fears were increased when she heard the masked man came after Naruto twice. She feared for her son, but was glad he was okay. This also solidified the thought that if the masked man had come after all of them he would have succeeded. Pain's attack didn't help either. The other two members were the second born, a girl with blonde hair tied into a ponytail named Naruko, and the last born, a boy with red hair named Menma. Sorry again, overused. I couldn't find any other names. They wanted to meet their brother very much. When they heard that he was attacked, they wanted to go and help, but what could they do? They were children. Then they heard that he faced off and defeated the leader of the Akatsuki, who leveled Konoha with one jutsu. This impressed them and their family. It also showed that those two were not yet ready to go into the world. Comparing their brother's power to theirs, when the war started, they immediately joined in order to fight alongside their brother. A lot happened during the war, meeting up with a shinobi, developing easier ways of sealing the reanimated beings, running into Sasuke, Naruto falling for Sasuke, the final battle, and finally Naruto going on a rampage. They weren't there when Hinata was killed, so they didn't know. But what hurt them was the disappearance of Naruto. They had finally mustered the courage to talk to him, but the next day he was gone without a trace. They knew Tsunade knew where he was, but she wouldn't tell them. Tsunade just wanted to be left alone, but these people are becoming a major pain. Jiraiya, seeing her, was the first to react. "Hello, hi, I'm looking good as always," Jiraiya said as he tried to charm her for the millionth time. "Honesty, this is getting very old, and the dude can't take a hint." Tsunade just sighed. "What do you people want this time?" she asked as she massaged her temples, waiting for the incoming headache. "Please Tsunade, tell me where my son is. We want to talk to him and explain ourselves." Kushina pleaded with her before the others could even say anything like they planned. She was desperate to reconcile with her son. Tsunade just sighed. "I am sorry Kushina, I don't know where he is," she said. It was true, she didn't know where he is. All she knew was he was in another world, but which one was the question. "But you have to know. You are the last person to see him." This time it was Minato who spoke. "When I said I don't know, I really don't know. All I know was he was given a challenge or a mission, if you will, and as part of the deal he will stay where he is if he likes the place," Tsunade answered. She had been withholding this information for too long. Maybe if she said something they will leave her alone. "What deal mission?" shouted everyone. Oh yeah, there were some of the rookies from Naruto's generation who were hiding, trying to listen in on the conversation. Not that Tsunade didn't know they were there. A while ago Naruto and Hinata made a deal with some deities that after the war they would go to another world to do a challenge of some sort. You have to understand that this world brought a lot of pain to Naruto, and coupled by Hinata's death and the stunt you pulled with the Uchiha, he really wanted to get away from here. So when they came he took the deal even though he was alone. The way I think of it, it's like he is on vacation for an unknown period of time. The others were surprised by the information they received. They had no idea felt like this. If they knew they might have done something. They felt so ashamed of themselves. But one question remained. Where did they take him? Shikamaru asked. To another world. The XD world. After the drama at the Phoenix Mansion, Naruto and the others teleported to the club room. After that they all celebrated their king's freedom, along with Naruto getting another round of ass kicking for withholding such important information from their king. She wouldn't have to put her peerage on the line during the rating game, and she certainly wouldn't have been worried during the wedding. She would have acted, for goodness sake. Naruto's excuse was 1. The Mayu would immediately spot that she was acting, and 2. This was the best way to gauge her peerage's strength. When they fight at their best, both were satisfactory answers to the others, so everyone dispersed when Grafia came to take Rias to her parents. It seems they wanted to talk to her. The girl complied, but not before asking Naruto how he used pod aura and other abilities, if the abilities were temporary. This surprised Naruto, so he asked Zirconus, who kept quiet for some reason. Naruto obviously knew what Zirconus Islands meant. They would have to discuss things first alone before the others knew, so everyone went home. When he got home with Asia, immediately went to his room and locked the door. "Alright Zirconus, what's wrong?" Naruto asked. At first Zirconus was quiet, thinking of what to say first and how to say it. "Naruto, I found a number of things that I wasn't to discuss with you, and some of them will make you freak out. Just give it to me straight, doc. How bad is it?" Naruto said, sounding like a patient who is awaiting bad news from the doctor. Zirconus just sweat dropped. "Well, for starters, where the hell did you get the scabbard?" "The legendary item used only by one being," Zirconus said. He was very surprised when he saw that item in Naruto. It also explains why he healed so fast and why he didn't outright pass out during the raiding games. It also explains why his devil form is only temporary, unless he wants to make it permanent. Oh that, when I came here after I received your gear that goddess or whatever she was gave it to me, she said the owner wanted me to have it, I don't see the big deal, as long as no one especially devils and angels don't find out, Naruto replied in a non-caring manner that made Zirconia's sweat drop even further. So tell me how the hell did I retain those abilities? I thought you said it's temporary, Naruto asked. Well, blame your freaky body for that. In all my life I have never seen a body as weird as yours. As soon as you activated those abilities your body assimilated them, which explains why your body was ripping apart and repairing itself. It was rewriting your DNA to include those abilities, which means that those abilities are now yours, Zirconia said. He was honestly surprised when he discovered what Naruto's body did. It was very rare to see a human body with an ability like that. To even surprise him further, his body also assimilated the merged elements. This boy would become very dangerous given the right abilities, and with the rate his power is growing. As for Naruto, this was one of the few times he was glad to have Uzumaki blood. The Uzumaki were known to have weird bodies, which explained their destruction and why Orochimaru wanted to experiment on him. So this means that he would have to train in the abilities he obtained, plus he also has 2 more in shelf to assimilate. So is there anything else that's out of place, Naruto asked. Feeling that there was something else Zirconia was not telling him, said Dragon started to sweat as he was trying to find a way to tell Naruto about his missing tenants. You remember that assignment you gave me of trying to access the seal, right? Naruto nodded as he remembered. Since most of his abilities were sealed off, it meant that even his access to the tailed beast seal was gone. He had tried to talk to his friends but no luck, so he came up with the idea of having Zirconia try and talk to them. Well, I managed to get into the seal since I reside in a sacred gear. Well, the thing is the seal is empty. Zirconia dropped the bomb. Again, Naruto asked as he thought he misheard the dragon. I said the seal is empty, there is no one there, Zirconia repeated. Naruto just froze. His friends were gone. His long-life friend Kurama was gone. Hinata was gone. What the hell did he do to deserve this? Wait, but he was still alive, right? Which means maybe he was still tied to them, but it also could be that scabbard keeping him alive. This thought really depressed me. However, there is a message left for you. When I find a way to get you inside the seal, I will take you immediately, Zirconia said. Thanks man, I appreciate that. Maybe there is something in the message that will explain everything, Naruto said as he sighed in sadness. It seems that his loved one leave him one after another, so the boy got into bed and went to sleep. A few days later, Naruto woke up with a start. He was sweating profusely and he was out of breath. He looked around and saw that he was in his room. He sighed in relief, but his eyes were filled with sadness. He just collapsed back into bed trying to get the nightmare out of his head. Why the hell is this happening now of all times, Naruto thought. Meanwhile, his partner sighed. It seems that he has fully accepted being a pervert, so his normal life is catching up to him. The perverted feelings were helping him forget his past, but know that he is used to them. His mind is reverting back to the past, meaning he will be having nightmares. He then woke up and made breakfast for him and Asia. During breakfast, he noticed that Asia was worried about something, and he also noticed that she wanted to ask something, but was shy to speak out. Well, whatever it was, she will say it when the time is right. They had a trying week, so they just need to rest. Maybe. Hey Asia, since we are free today, let's go out and have fun, Naruto asked. The girl has always been with her ever since that fateful day, so it's only right for him to do something for her. Asia also painfully reminds him of Hinata. The similarities are so astounding that he would have thought she was Hinata's counterpart in this dimension. So he took the excited girl to town where they did all sorts of things, not the naughty stuff pervs. They then went to the arcade and played some games. Naruto won the girl some plushies which she was grateful for. They then went for lunch, then went shopping, which was a big mistake. Even though Asia used to be a nun, she was still a girl, and as a girl, she really had an innate love for shopping. After their somewhat date, even though Naruto refused to call it that, as they got closer home Naruto sensed something. That something was powerful, but it was suppressed, so that only he could sense it, and no one else, so he instructed Asia to go home before he headed to the place where he sensed the being. When he got there he saw no one, only a black cat. Okay, now that's weird. He sensed no illusions, no spells. It was just him and the cat, which was strangely staring at him, so he knew the cat was the being he was looking for. Okay, I am here, what do you want? Naruto asked as he prepared for a fight. The cat continued to stare at him, which creeped him out. Then it did something that scared the shit out of him. The cat transformed into someone who scared everyone in the elemental nations. He thought he left this guy in the elemental nations, the freaking Shinigami. The Shinigami looked at Naruto in his translucent self, then it spoke in a distorted voice. Hello Naruto Uzumaki. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Naruto stood rooted to his position. There is no way in hell he can take on the Shinigami and walk out alive. If he tried to alert the others, they will only get killed, and he didn't want that to happen, so he had no choice but play along. Yeah, it's been too long. I thought I left you in the elemental nations. Naruto asked, his voice trembling a bit. Zirconius was also freaking out. There is no way he was going to win against a death god. Even those two idiots White and Red would fail, Sniff sniff wait what's this, oh, this is so fortunate of them, they could use this to their advantage. Oh I am well connected to follow you here, oh and just look at you, you have grown so much, I remember the time I held you in my hands, you were just the most adorable little thing I have ever seen, the Shinigami said while he gushed at the thought of baby Naruto. Meanwhile Naruto and Zirkinus looked disturbed by the scene in front of them. Is this the Shinigami or someone else, because there is no way in hell the Shinigami can act like this. Damn Naruto, just how cute were you to have the Shinigami act like this, Zirkinus asked. How should I know, I was just a baby. I have pictures if you want to see them, the Shinigami suggested to Zirkinus. Okay, now that's just wrong on so many different levels, what the hell does the Shinigami want with his pictures? Anyway, I came here to apologize for the way I have been acting, you see the one who has been causing you so much trouble ever since you got here was me, the Shinigami said. Now this caught Naruto off guard, the Shinigami was apologizing to him, for what exactly and why apologize, he is the freaking death god. Now that Naruto thought about it, the crappy, not so much, sacred gear and Razor's power boost, that was the Shinigami. Why, Naruto asked in a monotone voice. Yeah, he was pissed. Well, to be honest with you, I kinda got impatient. For you to understand, let me ask you this, do you know the reason why your parents are alive? The Shinigami asked. Now that got Naruto thinking, he never really thought about it before, as to why they were alive, because he was angry with them for abandoning him. As he thought about it, he feared that his speculations would be true. They sold my soul to you in exchange for them, didn't they? Yes and no, your father was an idiot. When I told him that he would live, everything else he tuned out as he was busy celebrating. I exchanges his soul and healing your mother for you, don't get me wrong, he didn't sell you, he just signed a contract involving you, the Shinigami explained. And what kind of contract is that? A marriage contract, the Shinigami said in an excited voice. What? Both Naruto and Zirkinus shouted. Of all the things that would happen on Naruto's first day on Earth, being engaged to the Shinigami was the most shocking. Why would the Shinigami want to be married to him? There were plenty of other beings much more suited than him, and did the Shinigami literally cradle Rob? Plus, how would this work, because he was sure that the Shinigami was a male, and the last time he checked he was straight. He is into girls, not a dude that looks like a mating ritual gone wrong between a zombie and an evil spirit. Sniff sniff. Okay, maybe he was too quick to judge, but that aroma definitely belongs to a female, so the Shinigami is female, good to know, but still that face is horrible. As if reading Naruto's inner turmoil, the Shinigami began to laugh. Come on, do you think I look like this? This is just a prank I came up with to play on humans, the Shinigami said as she disappeared in a poof of smoke. When the smoke cleared, what Naruto saw made him glad that he was engaged when he was a year old. When the smoke cleared, Naruto saw a very beautiful woman. She had purple hair tied into a ponytail, golden eyes and chocolate-colored skin. She was slender, but possessed all the right curves in all the right places. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Yoruichi Shihoina Shinigami, not the Shinigami, captain of the 2nd Division of the Gate 13, Yoruichi said with a smirk. Poor Naruto was frozen stiff looking at this goddess. In his head, a chibi Naruto was doing a victory dance. Okay, she might have tried to kill him, that to hell with it, she is hot. After collecting himself, Naruto began to ask questions like what the Gate 13 was and why choose him. The answer to the second question was funny. She said she wanted to sink her claws into him before the other goddesses did. Apparently future Naruto was a hit among the females in the divine realm. Also, the reason why she was pissed was he went to another world and that he became a devil of sorts, so his lifespan has increased, meaning their marriage would take longer to happen. Since she is forbidden to marry a person when he is alive, she has to wait until he dies, which isn't any time soon. The two chatted for a while before Yorch's time was up. Sorry to cut this short, but I have to go, but to say sorry again, we have decided to unlock your chakra. Your second gift will arrive within the week, Yoruichi said. Okay, but I want something else. Give me them panties, they smell nice, Naruto said with a pervy grin. Soon, just be patient, because as of now your body can't handle my power. Plus you will have plenty of panties from me and a few goddesses, so have fun with your girls, Yoruichi said as she kissed Naruto and disappeared, leaving a once again frozen Naruto. After a while, Naruto decided to test if the seal was gone. The first thing he did was form a Rasengan, which appeared a second later. Oh, there you are, my beautiful blue ball of pain. Oh, Papa missed you so much, Naruto said as he cuddled the Rasengan closer to his face, but not making contact. Zirkinus just sweat dropped after Naruto saw that his chakra was back full swing. He suppressed it, that disappeared in a body flicker. He will tell the others about his chakra ladder after he plans a prank on them. As soon as Naruto disappeared, Kaneko arrived and looked around. She couldn't find anyone, but she was sure she sensed large amounts of chakra here. She will have to report it to the president when she comes back. She wasn't the only one drawn to the chakra spick. A certain black cat had also arrived. As soon as the chakra disappeared, it looked around for a trail, but there was none. So the cat settled on looking at Kaneko. When Naruto got home, he found Asia and surprisingly Ria's. When did she get back? And what with the gloomy atmosphere? Those two looked at him with concern, which confused him. Something must have happened that made them feel this way. Arias, when did you get back? I just arrived after Asia called me, Rias replied. Alright, now what the hell is going on, and why did Asia call her? I will get straight to the point, are you okay Naruto? She asked as she looked him dead in the eye. Okay, that's weird. Of course I am. Why wouldn't I be? Who is Hinata? This time it was Asia that asked. Naruto stood frozen, eyes widened. How the hell did they know that name? And how did they figure out this was the issue bothering him? Where did you hear that name? When Naruto got home he found Asia and surprisingly Ria's. When did she get back? And what with the gloomy atmosphere? Those two looked at him with concern which confused him. Something must have happened that made them feel this way. Arias, when did you get back? I just arrived after Asia called me, Rias replied. Alright, now what the hell is going on and why did Asia call her? I will get straight to the point, are you okay Naruto? She asked as she looked him dead in the eye. Okay, that's weird. Of course I am. Why wouldn't I be? Who is Hinata? This time it was Asia that asked. Naruto stood frozen, eyes widened. How the hell did they know that name? And how did they figure out this was the issue bothering him? Where did you hear that name? Now, Asia looked at Naruto nervously as she tried to find the right way to say it. You were screaming her name a lot in your sleep for the past week. Oh, so that's how she knew. And wait, he was screaming when he had nightmares for a week and she heard it. No wonder she was worried and called Rias. So with a sigh, Naruto explained a part of his past he didn't tell them. The girls listened intently to his sad story and immediately regretted bringing the story up. It was like he was reliving his nightmare over again. So the girls did what they could. They hugged him and comforted him. It was a trying week for Naruto and he couldn't help but melt into their hug. He had asked Zirconus to up the perv dosage so that he wouldn't have to deal with the nightmares, but it seems the effects were late until no. Naruto, please give me my bra back, Ria said calmly, while Asia just turned red when she felt her panties disappear. How he did it this time they wouldn't know, even Naruto, who seemed surprised as he held the two articles of clothing in front of him. He didn't even activate steel. I don't know how that happened. Hehe. Naruto laughed nervously. Well, it's getting late. I think I will retire, said Naruto as he went to his room. He was surprised when the two girls followed him into his room and started striping, although Asia was hesitant, but she didn't want to be outdone by Rias. Hey, what the heck do you think you are doing? Shouted a blushing Naruto. Well, I heard that sleeping next to a girl chases nightmares away, said Rias, as if it's a common thing. Okay, at least put some underwear on, otherwise I think that plan would chase even my sleep away, said Naruto. The girls did as he suggested and they sandwiched Naruto between them. It took some time for Naruto to fall asleep, but he had a few thoughts in mind. One was boobs and soft skin, and the other was Hinata has some serious competition in the boobs department in this dimension. Luckily Naruto Jr. didn't cause any incident, at least not yet. Next morning, the night passed by quickly for the residents of the small apartment. There were no nightmares that night, meaning Ria's plan worked. Said girl was waking up from her beautiful rest. She got up and stretched her body, showing beautiful body which was very naked. Wait, what? She checked herself, and yes, she was naked. She was sure she slept with her underwear on. Ramen flavored panties, she heard Naruto mumble in his sleep, and when she looked at him, she saw what looked like the last piece of her panties disappear in his mouth. She quickly threw the covers off, and she saw that even Asia, who was now waking up, was also naked. They were both naked. Does that mean that Naruto was sleep eating? Naruto wake up. Both Naruto and Asia woke up and they both blushed at seeing Rias naked. Rias, why are you naked? Naruto shouted as he tried to look away, but his eyes were glued onto those glorious orbs. You tell me, and I am not the only one who is naked. You know. Asia then looked at herself and saw that she too was naked. She tried to cover herself the best she could. Naruto on the other hand was strangely calm as he took something and unconsciously started to eat it, causing Asia to blush beyond what is possible. Oh yeah, he was casually eating Asia's underwear without even noticing he was doing it. That was the effect of the increased pervy hormones. Until he gets used to it, he can just randomly stripe a girl and start eating her panties without even realizing it, and this is just one of the side effects. Naruto, you ate our underwear in your sleep, Rias stated. Naruto blinked, then swallowed, then blinked again. Sleep eating, well that's new. He just laughed nervously before he disappeared to take a very long cold shower. Breakfast was very awkward between the three of them. Well, for Rias, she didn't mind, she was used to being naked, but having her panties eaten again was another issue. For Asia, well, the girl cold looked Naruto in the eye without blushing a storm, and Naruto was trying not to remember those heavenly bodies that he saw, otherwise Naruto Jr. would betray him. The only hope that his pervy side wouldn't act up at school. Oh, how often would we wish for we don't get but the exact opposite. The three of them then walked to school where they did their usual routine until they met at the end of the day for a meeting. Everyone was seating in their usual places as they waited for Rias to start the meeting. Alright, now that everything is settled, I think it's time for us to get our new members their familiars, don't you think? Rias said, getting a nod from everyone. She then explained the importance having familiars and even showed the new members her familiar along with the others who had their familiars, including Issei. So the only ones who don't have familiars are Asia and Naruto. So we will have to check on Sona first before we can do anything. So Akeno, Naruto, come with me, Rias said as she left the club room, dismissing the other members. Naruto told Asia to wait for him so they could go together. Student council room. Sona and her queen were just wrapping up their paperwork. The black-haired beauty was signing the last paper when the door to her club room opened and Riaz and her team came in. She was happy to see her friend again after that fiasco. Riaz looked alive than when she was still trying to get out of that marriage. She then turned her gaze to Naruto, who felt the urge to run away. Why? Because Sona wanted to kill him. Serafal had a field day with her after she found out Naruto stole Sona's panties. She leveled a cold gaze at Naruto, but with those glasses of hers, Naruto just found her cute, or maybe that was his pervy side. Hey Arias, to what can I do for you today? She asked as she kept her gaze trained at Naruto. I was planning on going to the familiar forest to get familiars for my new members. I wanted to verify if you wanted to visit the forest, Riaz asked, ignoring Sona's hostile gaze on Naruto. Sona blinked as she shifted her gaze to Riaz. Oh, we already visited the forest a while back, so you can have this one, and please make sure no more perverted familiars, especially in the hands of this one, Sona said as she pointed a finger at Naruto, only to find a dotted shape of Naruto where he used to be. Now where the hell did he go to? Sona then stiffened as she felt someone massaging her boobs. The others were surprised at this action until Riaz and Akeno noticed the empty look in Naruto's eye, meaning regular Naruto was not home. Oh great, another pervy spell, and on Sona too. Naruto had a stupid grin on his face while he occasionally giggled as he played with Sona's breasts. Said girl was frozen as she felt an unfamiliar heat flood her body. She cheeks were flushed and she felt weak in the joints. She hadn't felt like this before and she was conflicted on whether she liked it or not. She tried her best to remain calm and beat some sense into this pervert, but her body refused. The occasional moans didn't help either. Looks like Naruto-kun is enjoying himself, said Akeno as she covered her flushed cheeks. She wished that Naruto would perv on her like that. Damn, he is getting worse by the minute, Riaz said as she debated on whether to help her friend or just enjoy the show. Well, Sona is usually uptight, so maybe this will help loosen her up. Plus this was pretty entertaining, well, for those into hentai, and I'm anyway. But who isn't these days? Tsubaki on the other hand had gotten over her shock, so she tried to save her king. What the hell do you think you are doing, you pervert? She shouted as she tried to clobber Naruto with a punch. Naruto simply dodges her punch as if he was on autopilot. A tick mark appeared on the girl's head at having her initial attack miss, so she tried again to hit him. But every time she did, he always dodged her like it was nothing. Worse, he was still fondling Sona even more. She finally forced Naruto to let go, who then started to blink. Hey, what the hell just happened? Naruto asked with a confused look. You did it again, Riaz said as she face-palmed. Naruto looked around the room and spotted a very flushed and out-of-breath Sona and a very angry Tsubaki. That's when he realized that he did it again, but the question was, what the heck did he do to these girls? Sona compassed herself and silently got up and walked straight at Naruto. Now Naruto was no expert in women, but even he could tell that the girl was pissed, so he started to back away as the girl approached him. First you steal my panties, then you eat them, then you come into my office and molest me. This time I am so gonna kill you, Sona said in an eerie voice. Naruto just laughed nervously as he let up his hands in a surrendering motion as he tried to calm the girl. But things don't go the way we want them to, for in Naruto's hands were Sona's and Tsubaki's panties. Well shit, how the hell does this keep happening? Looking nervously at the two ladies. Well ladies, look at the time. Bye. And with that Naruto ran for his life, keeping the panties of course. That was quite the haul for the day, haha. Get back here you pervert, shouted Sona with Tsubaki following her king. Well, it looks like things are going to be livelier than usual, said a blushing Akeno. Riaz took a moment to figure out why her friend was blushing. It was either the show Naruto put out or he took your panties too, didn't he? Akeno could only nod, but in her head she was thinking of various S&M scenes she will definitely put Naruto through. While running, Naruto felt a shiver ran down his spine. Okay, whose panties did he take this time? Who made him feel this way? After ditching Sona and Tsubaki, Naruto quickly located Asia and dragged her as far away from the school as possible. He could have teleported home using the teleportation circle, but he enjoyed walking home, so he and Asia passed by a food stand, bought some burgers and ate as they went home, and when they came home they were faced with a challenge. Asia, I might have a bad sense of direction, but even I know where home is. Are we lost or something, said Naruto, as he looked at the most extravagant mansion he had ever seen in the human world. Said mansion in the spot their apartment complex should have been. I don't think we are lost, but this is weird. Did someone steal our home? Asked the timid Asia as she too beheld the amazing house. Let's go away for a while, maybe it will disappear, suggested Naruto as he turned to leave, but felt some familiar signatures popping up in front of the mansion. Turning around he saw Riaz, Akeno, Little Fried Chicken, Ravel, and Tenten Wanab, Shui, oh, and the late person he saw surprise him. Scary and hot silver-haired maid was here as well, so he and Asia went to meet them. Hey, what are you guys doing here? Naruto asked as he looked around, his eyes ravaging the girls. Shui and Ravel blushed as they tried to hide behind Grafia, who looked pissed as hell. Whoever the hell pissed her off is in trouble. he can only hope she is not here to stay. Well, we are moving in with you. My brother thought it would be good idea to build you a bigger house. He said it's a gift for as a thank you, and something about filling it with your harem, Ria said as a matter of fact. Wait, hold the phone, what harem are we talking about here? I am not Issei whose dream is to be harem king. My dream is to be king of the pirates, Naruto shouted holding his hand up in a fuffy pose. Everyone's sweat dropped. Ah, that's Luffy's dream, and stop watching too much and I'm Ria said. Okay, I don't like the harem thing, I mean how can I handle many girls? Well, if I had my chakra back, liar, that wouldn't be a problem. I was known as a one-man army, you know, Naruto said in a proud voice. In truth he was lying, he already had his chakra, and the harem thing was tempting, but he hasn't gotten over Hinata yet. Are a one-man army you said? How does that work, asked a very interested Akeno as the other girls even Graphia were also intrigued. Well, I could make 1,000 clones of myself, they aren't durable. But I could make 20 overpowered clones which were durable. They can do anything I can, so I can handle 20 girls at the same time and outlast them, since my stamina is legendary, said Naruto, not knowing he had dug his own grave with that piece of information. Our legendary stamina you say? I won't mind if we test it out now, said Akeno in a seductive tone, sending shivers down Naruto's spine. Okay, this isn't going well. He might have to throw away the Hinata pity party away sooner than he thought. Ria's whacked Akeno on the head as she herself blushed. Future harem members assembled. Unlocking harem master skill, Zircon said in a game-like tone. This sent all the girls minus Graphia, who was more compassed, into a blushing frenzy. Hey, don't give them any funny ideas. I don't need a harem, Naruto shouted at Zirconus. You will after I am done with you. Don't worry ladies, by the time I am done with him, he will be all over your asses. Zirconus aid for Naruto had to dodge some ice swords from Graphia. Okay, this mood of hers doesn't bode well with his health. Okay, so are all you girls moving in with us, Naruto said, and Asia looked saddened by having to have all this competition. The answer was yes. Ria's wanted to get closer to Naruto, as was Akeno's reason. Although Akeno was starting to scare Naruto, Shui came as part of the bet he made with the fried chicken, in addition to the raiding game stipulations. Well, the Phoenix family wanted her to learn about the human world, so they decided Naruto would be her caretaker. Graphia was another story together. Naruto asked Surziches to find him a super maid for the house he planned to have built with all the money he had won, and Surziches sent him this. It seems that Surziches took the opportunity to get rid of her. Naruto eyed her again, and he could feel his pervy side coming out. He pulled out an outfit from out of nowhere. That maid outfit won't do. Please put this on, Naruto said as he showed them a very skimpy maid outfit. In his defense, Graphia's maid outfit covered too much, and he really wanted to see what she was hiding under there. Graphia projected the fabled aura of doom as she approached Naruto. Naruto-sama, I might be your maid, but I am not wearing that, she said as she made 2 ice daggers. Poor Naruto started running for his life, with Zirconus commenting that it wasn't his fault this time. Is he going to be alright? Ravel asked as she looked worried in the direction Naruto ran in. Don't worry, he is going to be alright, ouch, that's my ass, well most of him anyway. Let's get settled, Ria said as more cried from Naruto sounded. It's been 2 weeks and the girls all settled in nicely. They all picked their rooms with Asia being closest to him. They gave Naruto the master bedroom much to his shock. The house itself was huge and well furnished. He had no qualms with this, as he would divert his money somewhere where most of his gambling money went. Graphia was still moody, to which Naruto asked Rias, who also didn't know, so Naruto was determined to find out why she was this angry, and when Naruto sets his mind on something he will do it. He also promised that one day he would put a smile on Graphia's face, to which he dodged an ice dagger and a well-hidden blush from the maid. So all was well with his new house guests, well, except for the chains, that is, since Naruto's nightmares were ended by the increased dose of perviness from Zirconus. He had been getting worse with his sleep perviness, so it was decided that until he accepts the harem thing he was sleeping in chains. This was suggested by Asia, much to the protest of everyone except Graphia, who had a wicked smile on her face. Well, that all changed after Naruto was found in the hallway still tied to the bed with a trail of destruction which can be traced to his room, so they agreed Naruto was sleeping in chains every night. Hey Zirconus, how long is this going to take anyway? Asked Naruto, who woke up this time in his bedroom, but with the bed on top of him. Hard to say, it might be a few months before you get used to it, Zirconus answered Naruto. So you are telling me I am gonna randomly steal panties and bras and grope women like a maniac for an indefinite period of time, Naruto said in a dry tone. Yap. Right now, how was he going to survive at a school filled with girls? Luckily it seems that he only goes pervert when he is around powerful women, not normal human girls, but still it could get very dangerous, especially when he goes perv on women like Graphia. Right now we find Naruto in the basement of the house putting up seals and runes on the walls of the basement. Since the basement was huge, he decided that a part of it would be the training room where they would use their more destructive attacks without having to worry. First he placed reinforcement seals that strengthened the ground and the walls of the room, He then placed an auto-regeneration seals to fix the place if they exceed the durability of the reinforcement seals. He then placed barrier runes combined with the Crimson Flames barrier, hope I got this right, to hide their elevated signatures when they train, and as a last resort in case the first two seals failed. All this was done without anyone else knowing what he was doing, otherwise they would ask a ton of questions, especially the Crimson Flames barrier, which needs about 4 cage level people to activate. After finishing the room he tested the room of course. He really wanted to try out his powerful jutsu without alerting everyone. Oh how he loved busting out those jutsu after a long time. So he started practicing his speed followed by all forms of his Rasengan. When he was satisfied he then moved on to his elemental jutsu which also worked. The only thing he didn't try out yet was Sage mode. After his training he went into the living room where he found the rest of the gang there. Since it was the weekend the others were making it a habit to meet at the mansion instead of the club room. Shui and Ravel didn't have a peerage yet, but Naruto promised to make Shui his rook since Akuja hasn't finished making his pieces yet. He found everyone else waiting outside except for Rias, Bakeno and Asia. It seems that they were having a meeting, so he decided to use his enhanced ears to listen. So this concludes the Harem League meeting, soon we will start our operation, so let's be patient, came the voice of Rias. What the heck were they talking about in there? Harem League, operation, what are those girls planning? Soon the door opened and they were allowed in, but Naruto looked at the girls cautiously. But enough about the Harem League thing, he wanted to train his team so that they can become strong. Rias had held up their visit to the familiar forest because of their guests so they had time, plus they had rested long enough, so it's time for some torture, I mean training. However before he could even suggest that he saw Kaneko stiffen and he too stiffened. He could feel someone with chakra at their front door. The chakra was cage level, and this surprised him. What caused him to freeze was that the chakra signature felt familiar to someone he knew, but that was impossible since that person was dead. There is someone at the door who possesses chakra, lots of it, Kaneko said in an alarmed tone as she stood up. The others did as well when they saw Kaneko's concern and Naruto's frozen state, but they didn't worry that much as they were sure that with Grafia around they will be fine. Speaking of the silver-haired devil, she came in, followed by a girl wearing a white dress, and she looked to be the same age as Naruto. She had weird eyes without pupils with long lavender hair reaching her lower back. She was beautiful, rivaling Grafia, and Issei couldn't help but give a perverted giggle as he saw those large eyes. Grafia stood next to the girl ready for anything. The girl was strong, that's for sure, and an experienced fighter, so she had to be ready for anything. Excuse me Ria-sama, this girl here is looking for the perverted Jade Dragon Harem King as she termed it, so I thought she meant him, Grafia said as she pointed to Naruto, who looked like he was about to have a panic attack. Naruto, what wrong? Asia asked as she saw Naruto hyperventilating. No, it can't be, you are dead, Naruto said in between breaths. Was my Foxy-kun, the girl said in a loving smile. This sent everyone in a conundrum of confusion. These know each other. When did they meet and how was such a powerful person not known until now? This has to be some kind of trick. I watched you die, I buried you, who are you alive? Naruto said as he prepared to fight. His first thoughts were she was a reanimation, but she looked and felt human and not a zombie, plus her emotions were genuine, and this confused him. Iruchi-chan sends her regards, if you want you can test to see if I am real, the girl replied as she approached Naruto, and this again confused everyone, especially when they saw Naruto with a look of realization. Who the hell is Iruchi? The others prepared to fight as the girl stood in front of Naruto, who did something that made them all, even Grafia Facifault. He started to fondle her breasts while nodding his head, earning a few moans from the girl. Yap, she is the real deal, alright, Naruto said as he nodded his head, all the while continuing to fondle the girl. Everyone's sweat dropped. What sort of twisted way of identifying someone is that? There are a lot of ways to verify someone and that's not even on the list. In Naruto's defense, this worked during the war when he met a Zetsu clone that was almost too perfect. It failed miserably on the boobs test of course. After fondling the girl, Naruto hugged the girl for dear life while crying, thanking the Iruchi person, and saying that he wasn't going to prank her like he planned. After his meltdown, Naruto decided to introduce the girl. Hey guys, I would like you to meet my not dead anymore girlfriend Hinata. Okay, now that too much shock for everyone, especially Rias and Asia who saw this beauty. They knew that Naruto would be satisfied with a girl like this, and it would be difficult for their plan to work with her around. Hinata on the other hand looked around, especially on the girls in the room. She then looked at Naruto, who was now nervous about something. If Hinata found out how much of a pervert he was, his man bits won't survive to eat their first meal. Hinata nodded to herself as she suddenly flushed in front of Rias before anyone could react. She did something that threw everyone off guard. She started to fondle Rias' breast while humming to herself. MMMH, good choice, these will do nicely, so are all these girls my harem sisters to be. Though I seem to have serious competition in the boobs department, Hinata asked innocently. Yeah, too much shock. Naruto decided to pull a Hinata, and he just fainted with one thought in mind. What the hell did Yoruichi do to Hinata? Soul Society. Yoruichi was lazing around like a cat when she felt a chill run down her spine. I know Naruto liked his gift, but I feel like I am forgetting something. Elemental Nations. Tsunade and Shizune were watching a video sent by a mysterious person with mouths hung open. The note on the video said that it was about Naruto in the new world, so they were excited to see how he was doing. What they found was an edited video of the rating game with the Phoenix Peerage. All scenes were those of Naruto molesting the girl with little fighting in it. Oh my, what the hell has the brat become, and what has he done to my medical ninjutsu? Tsunade said with a socked face and a very difficult to spot blush. Oh my, what a technique, we have to make sure he doesn't touch us in public, otherwise it will be embarrassing, said a blushing Shizune as she tried not to rub her thighs together while thinking of that perverted technique used on her. When I see that brat I am going to kill him. MMMH, good choice, these will do nicely, so are all these girls my harem sisters to be. Though I seem to have serious competition in the boobs department, Hinata asked innocently. Yeah, too much shock. Naruto decided to pull a Hinata, and he just fainted with one thought in mind. What the hell did Yoruichi do to Hinata? Oh my, what the hell has the brat become, and what has he done to my medical ninjutsu? Tsunade said with a socked face and a very difficult to spot blush. Oh my, what a technique, we have to make sure he doesn't touch us in public, otherwise it will be embarrassing, said a blushing Shizune as she tried not to rub her thighs together while thinking of that perverted technique used on her. When I see that brat I am going to kill him. Now, Naruto's life was officially weirder now than usual, from his perverseness because of Zirconus to Hinata being a pervert herself and trying to get Naruto to bang all the girls in his house. Things were hectic, well time for some fun, and what better way than to bring a movie to real life. This was going to be fun. It was the weekend and the visit to the familiar forest was postponed again. We find all the girls from Ria's peerage at Naruto's house along with their guys, Kiba and Issei, were busy with their own stuff, but they were to arrive for their training in an hour or so. Apart from Naruto, trying to steal everyone's panties, everything was normal, well until now at least. In the front yard we find a frozen Kaneko and an equally frozen Akeno looking at the scene occurring in the yard. Off to the other side, we find the usually cool-headed Graphia with tick marks all over her head as she too looked at what was happening. This is happening, right? Akeno asked. Yes, I see them too, Kaneko answered. They just showed up and made camp here. I tried to ignore them thinking they will go away, but they aren't. What the hell is going on? They should exist, Graphia said. Hey guys, what are you all looking at? Oh my Mayu, what the hell, shouted a stunned Riaz who just came out of the house. She couldn't believe what she was seeing. Hinata, who was accompanying Riaz, just blinked. Well, you don't see that every day. So what's got everyone so worked up? The answer is simple. Spartans. Yeah, I said it. Spartans. Not the 300 kind of Spartans, no. More like the Meet the Spartans kind. If you have seen that movie, the whole yard was filled with these 300 guys wearing literal underwear. Not what those Spartans wore, and they were doing really weird stuff. You could see some of them applying an unholy amount of baby on their bodies in slow motion, with sparkles and radiant light shining in the background, making them look like wanted pretty boys. These guys were doing this in front of Graphia, which explains why she wanted to murder something. The others, the chubby ones, were painting six-pack abs on their packless, or rather one-pack abdomen, then they would go on to model in front of Kaneko, and the others were doing some disturbing stuff I don't even want to talk about lest I buff. Then there was King Leonidas. Honestly, they didn't know what to think. If he is the leader of these weirdos, then he is going to be the worst of them, said man, seeing Riaz and Hinata started to slowly and coolly, in his head anyway, stride over to them. Well, that was until he tripped and planted his face into the ground, hard. Quickly compassing himself while spitting out a few strands of grass, he continued towards Riaz and Hinata, who only sweet dropped. Good morning, my queens. I have assembled 300 of the finest Sparta has to offer. These men are loyal and will fight for you to the death, Leonidas declared. The army soon erupted into the famous Spartan war cry, but while doing that some of the soldiers accidentally started to clobber each other before a fight erupted, conjuring a literal cartoonish dust cloud. You could see heads, hands and feet flying around. Seriously, this was the best Sparta has to offer. That place is doomed. Can I kill them? Kaneko asked and Shulin agreed with her. Seriously, this was annoying, especially when some of those guys were trying to look up their skirt. You can try, but they will come back again. I tried, but they just disappear into smoke, then come back, Graphia said as she remembered the time she annihilated them all, when they first came only for them to come back again and again and again. Hinata just sighed. Hello Naruto-kun, I see you are having fun, Hinata said looking at Leonidas. She was honestly fooled for a minute, but Graphia gave her the tip she needed. The others looked at her like she was crazy. Hinata-san, I know Naruto can use transformation, but he is just one man, Akeno said before she remembered something. Well, unless he got his chakra back. Leonidas started to laugh awkwardly while rubbing the back of his head before transforming back to being Naruto. Hey girls, how's it hanging? I had you going there, didn't I? Naruto-kun, when did you get your chakra back? Ria said in an all too sweet voice. The aura of doom was not making things easy for Naruto. A few days ago, I guess, after meeting Yoruichi, he replied. And who is Yoruichi, plus why didn't you tell us? Rias asked again, the aura of doom increasing. This really wasn't good for Naruto, who was now sweating profusely. Is there a way out of this? Yes, there is. He discreetly signaled his clones, to which they moved to surround the girls. 6 per girl, while taking off their shirts showing their well-toned bodies. The girls blushed except for one. I wanted to surprise you girls. No, he is just bullshitting his way out of the situation. He hasn't accepted the harem thing. Now you have more of me to play with, Naruto said in a husky voice, making the girls blush further. It worked well somewhat, as most of the girls were reduced to stuttering messes. However, boss, help us. The clones that were with Akeno were suddenly tied up by a rope before they were dragged by a sadistic Akeno back to her cave of perverseness. Poor clones. Oh come on Gray-chan, that's the 5th batch you destroyed, Naruto shouted after received the painful memories of the clone that were destroyed by Grafia. Said woman just huffed and went back to work, leaving Naruto to explain everything. But one thing was certain, Naruto was watching too many movies and anime. What next, he is gonna turn into Escanor. Oh boy, I think I jinxed it. A few minutes later, to make it up to the girls, Naruto promised to show them a fun training method. His sensei, Kyuubi. He never told them, they just assumed his sensei was human, used, and what better way than to use some willing volunteers that so graciously arrived. To be honest, he didn't have a training plan for those two today, but thanks to his screw-up, he was forced to come up with one to entertain the girls. Okay guys, this is what we will do today. I am going to use a very special training method my sensei used to make me strong, Naruto said. This got the two boys excited. Whatever that method was, it was pretty special since it was personal. So take off your shirts and rub this on, Naruto said, handing them 2 bottles. The two boys looked skeptical. Dude, this is honey, Issei said. Yes it is, and it has special properties that a lot of beings don't know about, Naruto said as he started adjusting their gravity seals. The two boys reluctantly complied. They rubbed the honey on their bodies. They were blindfolded. After that, Naruto unsealed 2 things that got the girls to quickly get away from him. So what are the special properties that make honey so special for training? And what is that buzzing sound, Issei asked, having heard the buzzing sound. Oh, it just attracts bees, that's all, Naruto said nonchalantly as he threw the beehives to the ground, breaking them. The two boys panicked as they quickly took off their blindfolds, only to come face to face with an army of angry bee. You son of a ouch, Kiba cried. They tried to run away, but suddenly there was an increased weight that sat on them as their seals increased the amount of gravity, so the bees had one hell of a party with the poor boys. Ouch, they are in my pants, not the face please, ouch, not my pretty face, ouch. Now that was fun, but did your sensei really put you through this and you fell for it, Rias asked. Having known how clever Naruto was, he wouldn't have fallen for this stupid trick. Naruto just blushed and looked away. Once upon a time Naruto was not that bright, and this is so entertaining, Hinata said, getting a nod from the girls. Grafia, who was looking out of the window, just gave a small smile as she watched the show. While those two were running away, Naruto was having a conversation with his partner. So Naruto, have you ever considered increasing your chakra even further? Zirkinus asked. What do you mean by that? The various training seals I have placed on my chakra system are doing the job while I train, Naruto replied, being confused by his partner's question. What I mean is using the same method you have been using to increase your demonic power. You see, when I said I can convert panties to power, I may have made a mistake. I meant to say was I can convert it to any power the owner uses, for example demonic power, because you consume devil panties. You get where I am going with this, right? Zirkinus said with a slight tone. Naruto's eyes widened at the implications. He could basically possess any power he wanted from all species. This is so good. Now where to get chakra panties? Looking around, he spotted Kaneko, who was busy munching on her cookies. His eyes shone with mischief. Think of Kenichi's masters when they are planning something. As he crept upon the unsuspecting victim, when he got to her, he slowly lifted her short shirt and took a huge whiff of her panties. Oh yeah, that's some high-grade chakra panties right there. Kaneko was startled by Naruto's action. She jumped away and landed a few feet from a grinning Naruto while she tried to pull her skirt down to make it longer, at which she failed miserably. Them skirts are too short, she hissed like a cat as her ears and tail popped out from where they were tucked, but she didn't notice anything. What are you doing, pervert? She asked in a shaky tone. I need them Nico chakra panties, Naruto said as he began to drool at the prospect of eating them rich Nico chakra panties. No, Kaneko flat out refused. But it's for a good cause, Naruto pleaded. No. Then you leave me no choice, give me those panties, Naruto said as he started to chase Kaneko. Naya, Kaneko uncharacteristically screamed, and that cute scream further motivated Naruto. It was really cute. They started running around the mansion with the others not doing anything about it. Is she going to be okay? Ravel asked as she served the others tea. Oh, don't worry, she will be fine. fine, in fact it's good that she is showing more emotion, Ria said, but what's this about chakra panties? Far off into the distance a pair of golden eyes observed what was going on in the mansion. They looked at the scene with a hint of curiosity and amusement. Looks like she is in good hands. Later we find a tired and flushed Kaneko standing beside the others. She cold look at Naruto in the face. The situation didn't end with him stealing her panties. He first aroused her, then stole her drenched panties and ate them in front of her. Then he had the audacity to say that she, not her panties, tasted mighty fine. Naruto on the other hand was on the ground, a few bruises on his face. Okay, maybe he should have waited before tackling the mountain that was Graphia. After his conquest he tried to steal Graphia's panties. He failed epically. Before he even activated his technique, he was already on the ground with a maid standing above him. How does she know what he was going to do? This happened every time he tried to steal her panties, whether they be among the laundry, drawers or on her person. She always found out, but wasn't about to give up. This was a challenge he will complete on matter what. He was also very happy that what Zircona said worked and he could unlock a few abilities too. Maybe a few visits to Kaneko and Hinata would do him good, haha. So the team was preparing to go to the familiar forest. Ria's peerage was to enter while the others stayed. Issei was outright making fun of the beatdown Naruto had, with Kiba throwing in a few snide remarks. Hey, they had to take every chance they can get to have their revenge for the bees. Those damn things got into places that no bee should have gone. Familiar forest. Okay, let's skip the boring introductions with a familiar master who was a pervert wannabe, shall we? Naruto said that he would go off on his own, while the others helped Asia. The familiar master wanted to argue, but Naruto immediately shot him down. So here we are 2 hours later, where we find Naruto running like a maniac through the forest, and an almost naked woman hot on his heels. Okay, we fast forwarded way too far, let's go back a bit. Naruto was going through the forest wondering how he was going to find a familiar. There were so many to choose from. He had passed by a few of them that were curious and others that were hostile. But they weren't a problem for him. Maybe he could just summoning that could work. That's how he got his fox contract after all. After aimlessly wondering for a few minutes, he grew impatient and he decided to try summoning. He wondered if it would work in this world, and if it did, what creature would be summoned. In his world, because of Kurama, he got the fox contract, so maybe he could summon a dragon. That would be so cool. Well, not if a dragon eats you, Zircona said. Way to ruin the mood, man, Naruto said as he ran through the summoning hand seals. He then let loose a moderate burst of chakra to make sure if it worked, he could summon something of decent size. His eye widened when he felt more of his chakra being consumed. What the hell? There was a large puff of smoke, and Naruto waited in great anticipation, looking up. The smoke cleared and Naruto, looking up, couldn't see anything. The amount of chakra he used and the smoke signified that he was summoning something huge, but alas, there was nothing. Well, that was until he heard a cough to get his attention. When he looked, he rocketed back with a huge nosebleed. There, standing in front of him, was a very beautiful woman. A very beautiful naked woman. She looked like she was taking a bath with how wet she was, and also the bath towel explained things. Well, crap, he was going to get another beat down. Excuse me, young man, but can you explain to me how I got here? The woman asked patiently, although he did pick a hint of annoyance in her tone, and the fact that she didn't bother to cover herself meant that he was not going to be alive to fantasize about her gorgeous body. Double crap. Well, you see, I summoned you. The thing is, Naruto then went on to explain everything carefully so that she could understand. The woman just nodded at his explanation, looking, seeing as she was indeed a few kilometers from her den. Naruto, on the other hand, was taking in all he could about this woman, memorizing her curves and stuff. Zircona, on the other hand, was panicking. Shit, this isn't good. Naruto, get out of here or she will kill me. I mean you, Zircona said through the mental link. No need to alert the damn woman to his presence. She will definitely murder the both of them. Looks like his past was coming back to bite him in the ass. Why, she looks cool enough for now. And what the hell did you do to her? Naruto asked, confused. Do you have any idea who she is? She is bad news. Of all the dragons you could have summoned, why her? Zircona continued to rant through their mental link, but Naruto tuned him out as he digested what he said. Her a dragon? She looks human. Looking at her, their eyes met, and Naruto could see that her eyes were reptilian. Okay, so maybe she shape-shifted. But for an overgrown lizard she sure is hot, haha, too bad she isn't wearing any panties. Blood starts to lick from his nose again. The woman just sighed. Hormonal teenagers. She snapped her fingers and clothes materialized on her body. Okay kid, allow me to introduce myself. I am Tiamat, one of the 5 dragon kings. She expected him to cower in fear after he heard her name, but to her surprise he just blinked. Dragon king? No way, more like dragon babe if you ask me. You are freaking hot, and I am Naruto Uzumaki by the way, said Naruto said with one of his disarming smiles. Tiamat just blinked. Dragon babe, huh, that's new. Most of the people would have run away by now or just died before she killed them. This one was different, but she had one question before she unalived him. Why do you smell like that pathetic waste of paste, Zircona? She asked coldly. Damn, that's harsh, man. Not a big fan of yours, partner. Well, I am his host if you will. He is a good guy, Naruto said as he started to sweat. When the woman started to release an incredible amount of oppressive aura, yeah, Naruto was definitely dead. Then I am sorry, but I am going to have to kill you, she said as she prepared to attack. Man, fighting this lady would be a problem. They will level the entire forest, and there were some cute species he wanted to keep around. Wait, hold on. How about this? We hold a contest, right? If you win I will be your servant forever, and if I win then you will be my familiar. How does that sound? Naruto asked as he tried to calm down the angry woman. What did Zirkinus do to her? Tiamat thought for a minute. Well, it would be amusing to see what the lowly devil could do. After all, she was around for a very long time. Author dodges a fireball. Okay, you are young, so please don't kill me. So she knew every game there was, so there was no way this devil could beat her. Okay, thanks for your understanding. The game is simple. Each of us will take turns to try and arouse the other from where we are now, closing the distance. The one who arouses the other the most wins. Each person gets 5 minutes per session. By the way, are you wearing panties under there? Naruto stated. He was very confident in his ability to withstand her seduction despite being a pervert. He also knew that she was underestimating him. Oh, this is going to be very interesting. Make her your pet partner, Zirkinus said through the mental link. She was going to be party in his partner's hands. Tiamat on the other hand just blinked. Are teenagers these days really that horny to suggest such a thing when they were in a life and death situation? Oh, he is Zirkinus' host, never mind, this will be over quickly. Very well, and yes, I am wearing panties, she said. Naruto grinning and did a victory dance in his head. He hit the mother lode, the jackpot. His new dream was taking its first step into its fulfillment. He will have to make a list of targets later on. Tiamat started to do some sexy dances while slowly taking off her top. She was sure that if she showed some skin he would react like he did when she showed up. She then started touching herself, making her even more sexy. Her sexiness combined with her cold, uncaring demeanor made her even hotter. She looked at Naruto and her eyes almost bugged out when she saw him folding his hands looking at her with a poker face. But Naruto, he was wearing a poker face on the outside, but on the inside he was having an internal battle. Down Excalibur, down boy, don't disobey your master. Shit, she is so freaking sexy. What the hell was I thinking? Okay, think of things that can kill your libido. Okay, we have bugs, yes, lots of bugs. Poop and poop making out. We have Ichiya making out with Ivankov. Okay, I think I just permanently killed my libido. Through all this, Zirkinus was laughing his ass off. First, Tiamat was humiliating herself. Secondly, his partner's inner struggle with Excalibur was very entertaining. But he did have to go and puke after picturing Ichiya and Ivankov making out. Okay, now I am going to puke too. 5 minutes later and Tiamat was stunned. This boy sure has an iron will. He braved through her seduction like a pro. Even though she wasn't going all out, big mistake. All she managed to get from him was a freaking mild blush. Okay, next time, if there is a next time, she will step up her game because this was insulting. Naruto took the time to compose himself by taking a few deep breaths. Okay, my turn, Naruto said with a smirk. Tiamat was confident that she could handle anything the boy throws at her. Nothing affects her anymore. She even stopped herself from going into heat a very long time ago, and that's saying something. Long-range molesting. She wasn't prepared to feel her breasts being massaged by an unseen force. She could see them jiggling like someone was playing with them. She looked to see the boy smirk at her with both of his missing the palms. She had thought that he would stripe or talk dirty to try and seduce her. But she was wrong. He had this weird technique to touch her from afar, but she could handle this. Wrong. Naruto began to make thrusting motions with his hands, and Tiamat felt something like a finger slip in between her folds and her lower lips. Oh crap. She let loose a small moan before she controlled herself. She wasn't going to lose. She was strong. Touch of the hero god. She didn't last 5 seconds after the announcement. She just exploded with ecstasy, drenching her panties with her fluids. Naruto wasn't finished. He still had 4 more minutes left. So for the next 4 minutes, Tiamat was subjected to the best pleasures she had ever felt. When the time was up, we find a panting Tiamat kneeling on the ground, sweat pouring throughout her body. Her panties and bra had at some point gone missing, more like stolen. She wanted more, and she was going to have more. Zirkinus couldn't be any more prouder of his host. He did something that even he failed to do. Oh, this calls for some celebration. Wait, this scent, what is this? Tiamat closed the distance faster than Naruto could react and then captured his lips. What followed was one heck of a makeout session. Naruto for the life of him didn't know what happened. He wanted to push her away, but he couldn't. All of his senses were telling him to mount this woman until she couldn't move. Snap out of it, you idiot, Zirkinus shouted, making Naruto blink before he pushed the woman a bit away to create some space. What the heck happened? Naruto asked, confused as to why he was like this. You triggered her heat, that's what happened. She hasn't been in heat for a very long time. Now all that time is catching up to her. All those repressed feelings are coming at her in waves. Worse, because you have me, you are also in heat. You have to get out of here. And now Zirkinus shouted at his partner. He should have seen this coming. He was so careless. Tiamat pounced at Naruto again, but this time with more force that cracked the ground. Ouch, that was painful. She started to rip off his clothes, which was the quickest way to get him naked. Oh, she wanted it so bad. He started it, now he has to finish it. Naruto used more strength to push her away. Then he did the most sensible thing he could think of. He ran. Shit, this isn't good. Hinata is going to kill me. And she is coming after me. Naruto shouted as he ran for his dear pants. Just keep running. If she catches you, you will be here for a week going at it, or at most a month if you survive that long. Zirkinus shouted. A month? Oh hell no, Naruto shouted as he increased his speed. He could feel her Kai increasing as she got frustrated. Oh crap, seeing his friends all assembled he quickly turned towards them. Run, let's get out of here. Naruto ran with panic in his eyes as a huge amount of Kai flooded the forest. He honestly didn't think the lady would be this powerful and damn crazy. Looks like he bit more than he can chew, haha. He could fight her, but that would ruin the forest. Oh, who was he kidding, she is scary as hell. Who did you piss of this time? Ria shouted, shaken by the Kai. Naruto just pointed behind him and everyone's eyes widened. Behind Naruto, hot on his heels, was a very pissed off and blushing semi-naked Tiamat. Get back here and finish the job. Quickly making a teleportation seal, all of Ria's peerage disappeared just as Tiamat reached them. She huffed in annoyance, then she also disappeared, leaving a very perplexed familiar master. Arriving at his home, he quickly assembled everyone and then explained what happened. Everyone just face-palmed. Yeah, give it to Naruto to create a situation like this. Grafia wanted to laugh, but she was also intrigued as to just how powerful his technique was to make even Tiamat go nuts. Looking for the boy, she blinked as he found him gone. Where is he? Everyone froze as they heard a cold, chilling voice behind them. Turning around, they saw Tiamat in the room. She followed us. Grafia got ready to fight while the others cowered behind her. She was the only one remotely capable of taking her on. Shulin and Ravel were quaking in fear as they thought that their home was going to be destroyed less than a month after her arrival. Ara, he is right here, Hinata said as she fished Naruto from the wall he melded with. She then threw his at Tiamat, who quickly subdued him. Hinata, why? Naruto asked, shocked. Well, this is your fault after all, so you fix it. Plus she is likely not going to stop until she gets what she wants. Also, you can survive with your legendary stamina. Plus if we fight right now, I don't think our house and the town will survive. Finally, this is the next step to Operation Make Naruto Harem King, Hinata said as she gave him an evil smirk. Oh, it seems her plan just got a little bit of help. Just make sure you don't break him, okay? Otherwise I will come for you, Hinata said as she released her own impressive Kai. Tiamat gulped. What a scary girl. Thank you for your understanding. I will bring him after a week, Tiamat bowed as she prepared to teleport away. What a week. Guys, please help me. He looked at his friends with pleading eyes. What he got shocked him. Let's go play chess, Akeno. Make sure to break his leg so he doesn't run away. I am behind with my chores. Lucky bastard. Tiamat looked at Issei with narrowed eyes before she just shrugged. That other idiot can wait. Right now mama needs some action. With that she teleported away with a screaming and begging Naruto. It will be about 3 days before Naruto is seen again. Thanks for watching.